atmosphere, and it should be one for the purist, this, Don Hutchison.
It should be a fantastic game. Cottage looks magnificent, the new stand not quite full, but the atmosphere inside the stadium, you're right, the Sunderland fans have took all their allocated support behind the goal. It looks incredible, and it should be a good game of football. Two good sides to watch.
And certainly looking forward to seeing Patrick Roberts on his return to Craven Cottage. He was certainly highly thought of here before he was snaffled by Manchester City. And Sunderland do have a number of youngsters as well. Jack Clarke and Dan Neil in particular. Heard so many positive things about those two. Jack Clarke looking to try and rebuild his career after that move to Tottenham Hotspur didn't quite work out for him, but he's certainly still got plenty of time to come back again at 22 years of age. So we're underway. Fulham in their white shirts are attacking the putt in the end, so they are playing from right to left as we look. We'll keep the up to date with the goals as they go in, and already you can hear that mass rank of Sunderland support that have travelled that long journey down. Of course, they, as you know only too well, how they love an FA Cup run in the northeast. As Kurzawa with the cross, and it's caught by Patterson, all in yellow.
Good hands for Patterson. What I would say early on in the game, the pitch looks absolutely immaculate. 3 o'clock kick-off, FA Cup. What a day.
And as you say, that Riverside stand, it's being used in the lower tier, in the various sections behind the dugout, and then they've got bookends of support at either end. The middle 3 sections not yet utilised, but certainly looks very, very impressive as you make your way in here to Craven Cottage.
Leisure Centre swimming pool in there, it's got your name written all over it, hasn't it? Got a membership.
Fulham win the ball. Paulinho to Vinicius. Back it goes to Wilson, and with the outside of his left foot, it was a stabbing motion just inside the area, and it was saved by Patterson.
Well, they should have done better, and they should have got a shot away. It was a poor touch from Carlos Vinicius. The breakaway, counter-attacking play from Fulham, the ball into him was a decent one, should have took it in his stride and got a shot off.
I'll take the hospitality, I'll leave the exercise for others done. Header forward, out to Solomon on this near side. Quite diminutive with his short dark hair, the Israeli international. Kearney, who's featured in every game for Fulham this season, but this is only his 3rd start for the club. As back with Paulinho, the Portuguese international, and then back it goes to the back and then played forward. Let's get an update. The racing at Cheltenham, John Hunt.
Just underway for the 3-mile Cleve hurdle here, Ian, and all eyes on the magnificent Paisley Park, bidding to win this race for a 4th year in succession. He's underway, he's back in 5th or 6th place.
We'll be back with you at Cheltenham. Earlier, Charlton 1, Bolton 2 was a result in League One, and in the FA Cup, Leeds United went away at Accrington in our first commentary by 3-1. And Leicester City are also through after beating Walsall by 1-0. Swindon have just taken the lead at home to Gillingham in League 2 at the county ground. 1-0 to Swindon. Pereira back to Paulinho. They might have made the 7 changes, but they've settled into a nice early rhythm here, yeah, Fulham, haven't they?
They're knocking the ball around well. Early problems for Sunderland to try and problem solve is how high Fulham's fullbacks are playing.
Paulinho wins the ball back inside to Pereira. Mansfield are leading by 1-0 at Field Mill against Doncaster as Pereira plays the ball out towards Tete. Level the penalty area on the right hand side. Back inside to Wilson. Now to Kearney. Pereira passing it around. There's a real zip about Fulham's play in these early stages. Tete high up the pitch on the right. Back it goes. And Wilson, now the Welsh international. Kearney takes over. Kearney with the cross. Kurzawa's coming and making a late run in towards the penalty area, and it just arced its way away from him, and out of play it goes for a goal kick, but it's been a good start from Fulham.
Very, very good start. Their passing's been slick, the movement's been good. You can tell that they've got in their minds that they're the superior club, the superior sides, because all the ball players want the ball.
Birmingham City are in dreadful run of form. They've lost 5 of their last 6. However, in the FA Cup, they've taken the lead at Ewood Park. Blackburn Rovers 0, Birmingham City 1. We'll get news of that goal when we can. And in fact, Ellen Ellard is there now.
Yes, Blackburn 0, Birmingham City 1. Raider Kadra from distance, a low ball, and Thomas Kaminski was able to get a hand to it, but it just pinged into the back of the net, and Raider Kadra has scored against his former club. Blackburn 0, Birmingham City 1.
Early stages here at Craven Cottage, 4 minutes played, no goals. That's the first goal of the afternoon in our 4th round FA Cup ties at 3 o'clock. Still so many more games to bring you. We've got Preston Tottenham Hotspur at 6, and then Manchester United against Reading at 8 o'clock. That's after a full-length sports report where we'll bring you as much reaction as we can with Mark Chapman. Gillingham have equalised at the County Ground in League 2. Swindon 1, Gillingham 1. Ball is played back to Dan Ballard, and now it goes to Danny Bart, the Sunderland captain, forward from Elise, give the ball away, and then one back in the midfield by Michu, and then it's swept forward looking towards Ahmed, who was making a darting run forward on the right hand side. Sunderland go after the ball, but Fulham bring it away. It's won back again by the Championship side, just outside the playoff positions. Ahmed on loan from Manchester United. Roberts to Ahmed. Neil is just behind him, and now Trey Hume, this Northern Irish young defender, out for a throw. Don.
Well, they've found their stride. All of a sudden they've got a little bit of confidence, and that's what happens when you're playing away from home. Sometimes you've got to ride a little bit of possession against. Interesting to see what tactics Sunderland use. You've got two options when you've got someone like Ross Stewart leading the line early on in the game. Do you go in behind to try and get your back four closer to the halfway line, or do you try and be precise with your passing and try and get it into his feet?
He's in good form as well, Ross Stewart. Scored 6 in his last 7, 11 for the season. Scottish international, and Steve Clarke, the Scotland manager, is here today. Ball has been won for Sunderland, high up the pitch by Clarke, and he goes on to score. Jack Clarke robbed the Fulham defence, and a composed finish, right-footed, and Sunderland in the early stages lead by a goal to nil, much to the delight of the 6,000 travelling support.
Well, what a finish, but it was a really, really poor error from Kenny Tete at full-back. He took too long on the ball, and all of a sudden Jack Clarke was closing him down, and he didn't have enough time to try and react. But he nicked the ball off him, faced the goalkeeper 1v1, and a brilliant finish into the bottom right-hand corner.
Talking of finishes, this is the closing stages at Cheltenham. John Hunt.
And they're turning for home here, and they've got one more flight of hurdles left to take. The final big race of what's been a glittering afternoon. Ahoy, Signor and Editor Dugit, so far today's big winners. Dashel Drasher leads them for the last here. He's got Gold Tweet, the French raider, in behind, going well in second. And then the ever so popular Paisley Park in third. But Paisley Park's 4 lengths back in third place, being ridden along. The leaders arriving at the last flight of hurdles now. It's Dashel Drasher being joined by Gold Tweet, a rare runner from France here at Cheltenham these days. Years ago they used to be regular visitors, but not so much now. They're going to win the last race of the day though, here, the last big one of the day at Cheltenham, as Gold Tweet, trained in France by Gabby Linders and ridden by Johnny Charon, beats Dashel Drasher, and in Paisley Park he'll be forever in horse racing fans' hearts, but only third today for the great old hero.
Thank you, John. The Cheltenham trials on a busy day of racing, and here at Craven Cottage, Sunderland are leading Fulham by a goal to nil, as we welcome listeners to the BBC World Service. So wherever you are in the world, always a pleasure to have your company. And Sunderland of the Championship with Jack Clarke. He'd gone 15 games without a goal. His last was against Swansea in October, but such a composed finish. And Sunderland, whilst we were away at the racing, had a break with Ahmed that they could easily have had a second.
It's amazing how and what a goal does for a team and what it does for the opposition, because Fulham were cruising in this game, lost the goal, went behind, and all of a sudden they're rocking.
Hartlepool 0, Colchester 1 is the latest score in League 2. Sunderland, though, are attacking the Hammersmith end of the ground, so they're playing from left to right as we look. And Ahmed just knocks the ball inside to Patrick Roberts. Roberts sends over the cross. Tete, the right back, was tucked in. And Fulham at the minute just can't get out. It's won back by Ahmed. Edge of the area. Good footwork by Ahmed. What a run that is. He goes down inside the penalty area. But the referee had a good look at that.
Yeah, I think he lost his foot, and I don't think it was a dive. I just think there was no foul for sure. I think he just lost his foot and lost his balance. But certainly on top here, Sunderland.
Michael Salisbury is the referee. We'll go to Portman Road now. Ipswich Burnley in the Cup. Aaron Paul.
Ipswich 0, Burnley 0. The home side bossing the opening few minutes here. Ian Caden Jackson and George Hurst particularly lively. The first major chance though has fallen for Marcus Harness. Pot shot off his toes in the box. Peacock Farrell was backpedaling into the Burnley goal. It clipped the crossbar and went over. 0-0.
1-0 to Sunderland. We do have the facility always on FA Cup afternoons such as this at 3 o'clock to go where the story is, whether Blackpool could claim another Premier League scalp after Nottingham Forest in round 3. But at the minute, this is it. Sunderland are already leading by a goal to nil for a much changed Fulham. I mean, at 31 points, you would think in terms of they're going to be safe for the Premier League, so they could have an opportunity of a good cup run. There were 9 Premier League sides that went out in round 3, a record since the inception of the Premier League in '92. And of course, we already lost Arsenal last night. One of Brighton and Liverpool will go out tomorrow. So there's an opportunity for some sides to try and enjoy a good cup run. But for Fulham at the minute, they're going to have to come from behind, because Sunderland, buoyed by that goal, are really looking a very confident side at the moment.
It's incredible. I mean, Ahmed's got some touches on the ball, but he looks really sharp, he looks confident, even a little bit of arrogance in his style. He's playing well, and so are Sunderland since they've took the lead.
Let's get an update in the rugby. Leicester Northampton, James Burridge.
And Leicester have taken the lead back. A second try from Harry Potter, this down the right flank, escaping the tackle of Tom James, and they lead by 15 points to 12 as Ollie Slighthaven's going to weave his way through, and Northampton have the lead back. This is a topsy-turvy East Midlands derby, and Northampton back in the lead 10 minutes into the second half.
Fulham have just got a corner kick. Carlisle are leading at Rochdale by a goal to nil. Rochdale bottom of League 2, 1 win in 10. They're behind at Spotland to Paul Simpson's Carlisle. Harrogate 0, Sutton 1, and Gillingham are now leading at Swindon 2-1. Swindon 1, Gillingham 2. Fulham though looking for an equaliser, and in front of that 6,000 travelling support, they've got a corner kick on this near side the left. Pereira's going to take it. Wilson wanders across to the left corner of the area if he requires him. Sunderland have got everybody back. It's Pereira, and it goes to the near post. Headed out by Michu, only as far as Wilson. Solomon along the ground, back out towards Pereira, shifts it onto his right foot, delivers a low cross. Cleared, comes back out then to Pereira once again. Solomon is in close vicinity. Good footwork by Solomon. Got away from a couple of challenges. Kearney on the edge of the area, can't get the shot away, quickly closed down. Up in the air it goes, headed out by Ballard, and then an acrobatic clearance by Ahmed. Defending in numbers, defending with a lot of depth there with Sunderland, and at the minute doing their job well.
Yeah, they're looking good. Defensively, they're looking quite sound.
Hibs are leading Aberdeen by a goal to nil at Easter Road. Hibs 1, Aberdeen 0. We'll go to Southampton Blackpool now. Jonathan Overend.
Well, it's 0-0 here between Southampton and Blackpool. The Premier League side dominating possession, as you might imagine. Orsic and Perrault shots wide from distance. Although Mara has just been yellow carded for lunging in on the goalkeeper Maxwell, and maybe slightly fortunate to get away with that. Southampton 0, Blackpool 0.
3 games in the Championship. One of them, Hull City, are leading at home to Queen's Park Rangers. Pereira coming forward now for Fulham, switches the ball out towards the right. Wilson enters the penalty area. It's a low ball, cleared away 6 yards out from his own goal by Ballard, only as far as Polinia. Back towards Pereira, waits for Tete on the overlap. Tete with a cross right hand side, bouncing ball. Roberts will not get there first. It's won by Kearney, who then is held up, tries to lift the ball in the air, can't deliver the cross. They've doubled up on Kearney. Sunderland really are defending with real vigour.
They are. The 2v1 against Tom Kearney, to be fair to him. He's trying to get on the ball, trying to make things happen.
Before the corner is taken, we'll quickly nip to Ashton Gate. Chris Coles, you've had a goal.
To Bristol City, Ian. Bristol City 1, West Brom 0. Sam Bell, the youngster who scored the winner to get Bristol City to this stage, has opened the scoring at Ashton Gate, finding the bottom corner with a fine strike. Bristol City 1, West Brom 0.
Corner's taken, then it's Pereira who swings it in towards the far post and arriving with a downward header. And it was Tosin who just couldn't get it on target.
Should have scored. He had a lot of time to get the flight of the ball. It was a fantastic ball in. His whip were loads of pace, and it wasn't flat neither, so he had a lot of time to see it, and he was probably 4 or 5 yards out. Just needs to head it into one of the corners, but headed it into the ground and over the bar.
Tell you what, we've only been playing for 13 and a half minutes, but it's a good cup tie.
It's a good game. It's a really good game.
Gillingham have got a third now. Swindon 1, Gillingham 3. So 4 goals in the opening 13 minutes at the county ground. Penalty at Ibrox, Roddy Forsyth.
And it's a penalty to Rangers, which of course means that their captain James Tavernier will take it. It was a handball inside the St Johnstone box, and now it's Tavernier against Remy Matthews. He likes to do a little shuffle of the legs. There he goes. And is it into the net? It is. You can hear by the reaction from the fans. Rangers are the goal to the good against St Johnstone's.
Cheers, Roddy. It's going to be a A throw to Sunderland, much to the disappointment of Kuzwa.
It's a definite throw in to Fulham. Not sure how the linesman's missed that one.
Just heard from Roddy at Ibrox. Ross County leading Kilmarnock by 1-0. Throw which Hume will take on this right-hand side to Stewart, lifts the ball in the air, volleyed away by Tosin. Vinicius then being held off by Ballard. That was a real tussle between the two. Out it goes for a throw on this near side. Fulham want to take the throw quickly as Kearney challenged by Neil, and it goes out for another throw.
Oh, they've got another one wrong. That was another definite Fulham throw-in. Linesman on this side's having a shocker.
In fact, I actually think that Michael Salisbury, the referee, is going to overrule him here.
I don't think he has.
No, he's not.
To be honest, that was a hard one, but they've had two little 50-50 nicks that should have been Fulham throw-ins.
Where will we go next then on 5 Live? Luton, John Southall.
Well, it's Luton 0, Grimsby 0, but Luton have had the ball in the net. Dan Potts 4 yards out, headed in, but disallowed for offside. Correct decision. Luton 0, Grimsby 0.
Bristol City are ahead, Birmingham City are leading. Sunderland are 1-0 up here at Craven Cottage. Roberts ball inside, reaches Stewart just outside the centre circle. He was challenged by Wilson. Good pace about the game.
It's a good game. I mean, Fulham started off really well first 4 or 5 minutes. Knocked the ball around well, but Sunderland have got some really good players who are spending time on the ball, and the pitch is exceptional. It's making for a good game. It's quite slippy, it's quite fast.
Tony Mowbray 5 times he's faced Premier League opposition as a manager in the FA Cup, whether it be for West Brom, Middlesbrough or Blackburn, and he's lost all 5. However, his team are leading here at Craven Cottage.
Oh, you've gone all doom and gloom there, Dano, haven't you?
Well,
Side of winning 1-0.
Well, he'll be pleased because his last 4 games against Fulham, he's lost all 4 with an aggregate score of 12-0. So at least his teams have found the net, and they might be looking for another one here. It was Roberts, forward ball to inside right channel. Stewart's gone down.
Yeah, Stewart's gone down.
Picked up an injury.
Hopefully it's not a hamstring. There was a bit of contact between Stewart and the defenders, but I don't think it was definitely not a penalty. Hopefully it's a contact injury more than a muscle strain.
It looked the way he pulled up that it could be a hamstring, couldn't it?
He looks in pain as well, doesn't he?
And that will be a blow for Sunderland. It will be a blow for the watching Scotland manager Steve Clarke, and certainly they've had for the Black Cats, they haven't really had much luck at all, because Gooch, Pritchard, Embleton are all injured. They've just lost Evans as well for the season. And
looks like a hammy.
It does, doesn't it? And that is a real blow. So there's going to be a bit of a stoppage here at Craven Cottage. We will go to Hillsborough, Sheffield Wednesday, Fleetwood, Maz Faruqi.
Goalless here at the moment, Ian. Remember, Fleetwood with 3 defeats on the bounce to before today, holding their own against Sheffield Wednesday, although Wednesday and Mallet Wooks have had a couple of decent chances. Just flashed a shot just wide that was deflected of the left-hand post. Still Sheffield Wednesday 0, Fleetwood Town 0.
Hibs 2, Aberdeen 0 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. In League One, our featured game, Shrewsbury against bottom of the table Forest Green, managed by Duncan Ferguson, and there's been a goal. Charlie Slater.
Big Dunk, a very happy man right now, Ian, after a wonder strike from Jordan Garrett, cutting in off the left-hand side with his right foot. He picks out the far top corner. The Big Dunk era off to a banging start. 18 gone, Shrewsbury 0, Forest Green 1.
St Mirren 1, Motherwell 0 is a latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Stewart is still down and a stretcher is being called for. So
I think they're holding the knee, which is a worry.
Well, he's being at the minute consoled by Dan Neil at the moment, but as you say, he looks in a real amount of pain, does Ross Stewart. So this is a lengthy stoppage. We're going to go to St Mary's now. Southampton, Blackpool, Jonathan Overend.
Well, it's 0-0 and we've played for 17 minutes, and relegation threatened Blackpool of the Championship have acquitted themselves pretty well. First match under Mick McCarthy, they've restricted Southampton to just a couple of half chances from distance, and they're just coming a little bit more into this first half. Francis Benali alongside me.
Yeah, Mick McCarthy will be quite pleased with how his side have started. They haven't had a huge amount of possession. I guess unsurprisingly, Southampton have had the bulk of that, but they've only had a few corners really to show for their efforts so far today.
Southampton 0, Blackpool 0.
Well, last week Sunderland played Middlesbrough in the Weir Tees derby. Middlesbrough today are at home to Watford. John Bennett.
and they're playing really well. Nothing to show for it though. It's Middlesbrough 0, Watford 0. All the chances for Middlesbrough. Chuba Akpom with an effort deflected over, Marcus Forss with an effort saved, and Archer with a shot deflected clear, but they're being frustrated so far. Middlesbrough 0, Watford 0.
Well, it's never a nice sight to see anybody carried off on a stretcher, but you've really got a feel for Sunderland's Ross Stewart, the 26-year-old forward. He's nicknamed the Loch Ness Drogba by the Sunderland supporters. He really has been a terrific signing from Ross County 2 years ago. But as he makes his way in front of us, and a sporting gesture as well from the Fulham fans in front of us, who are applauding Ross Stewart, who's been carried off down towards the tunnel area towards our left-hand side, and one can only hope that it is not a serious injury.
It's awful. I've been there myself on a stretcher, and it's devastating when you're on that stretcher, because everything's going through your mind, long-term surgery, and you feel for him. So yeah, all the Sunderland fans behind the goal giving him a great round of applause. Hopefully it's not as bad as what it looks.
And have they actually made the substitution yet?
Not yet, I don't think so.
In fact, he's Barr has come on, Abdullah Barr, the 19-year-old midfielder. So now Ahmed is going to play through the middle.
Yep.
And Barr, the midfielder, is just going to slot in. So they've had to jig things around a little bit with that injury to Stewart.
Barr's gone off the left-hand side, hasn't he?
Yeah. 19-year-old, 5-year deal, French youth international. His 16th appearance coming on for Stewart. So that lengthy stoppage. We're back underway though, with Sunderland leading by 1-0. Morecambe leading at home to Bristol Rovers 1-0. Peterborough a 1-0 up at home to Portsmouth. Portsmouth, who've won their opening 2 games under John Mousinho, but are behind there at London Road. And you're up to date with the goals as they go in on BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service.
The referee just had another smile because a throw-in's just gone Sunderland's way again, the third one in about 5 minutes.
Here is Alessi. Back then to Bart. Back out to the Sunderland left back once again.
Looking back at the goal, it was an awful mistake from Issa Diop.
He took it so well though, Clark, didn't he?
Yeah, he robbed them of possession, but Issa Diop sort of took an age trying to make up his mind what he was going to do, whether he'll think there wasn't enough options for him, but got to try and produce something. Even you've got to try a little bit of skill. Got caught on it, but brilliant finish from Clark.
Jack Clark, who started out at Leeds United, and then he went to Tottenham. Only 4 appearances during his time at Spurs. One of them actually was in the FA Cup when they beat Marine by 5-0. But here, part of this Sunderland side that has given Tony Mowbray's side the lead is Kearney. Passes the ball back, and game just still trying to get back into its flow, because it was a really good cup tie before that lengthy stoppage, but the pace of the game is yet to get back to where it was.
Well, they're struggling for an outball at the moment, Fulham, because they're looking at Carlos Vinicius, the front man, and the 2 centre-halves for Sunderland are way bigger than him, so they can't go long.
Here is Pereira, forward ball. Kearney on the stretch, couldn't quite take it into his stride. Barr now will bring it forward for Sunderland, runs into Tete, helped out though by Michu in the midfield. Barr now leaves it for Ahmed, and there's a player down, Paulinho. There's been a goal at Southampton, Jonathan Overend.
Southampton 1, Blackpool 0. Saints fans are used to seeing their side score direct from free kicks, but James Ward-Prowse isn't playing. Someone else got a go, and it was Romain Perraud, and he scored direct, left-footed, through the wall, past Maxwell. Quite thunderous strike, Francis Bernardi.
Yeah, he's gone more for power than accuracy, I would say, on this one, or whipping the ball in, but I think Maxwell is a little bit unhappy, the Blackpool goalkeeper, with his wall. There was a bit of movement from one of the players in the wall, and that seemed to be the gap where the ball went through. But a wonderful strike from Perraud, the home side, to take the lead.
Well, he's the top scorer. He's the top scorer, the Southampton left back, out of the players who are on the field at the moment. Southampton 1, Blackpool 0.
Another stoppage here. Paulinho has just pulled up with nobody around him.
No one around him. So whether it's a muscle strain, they're checking the ankle. But you're right, there was no one around him.
He's been a good signing, hasn't he, from Sporting?
Very good. Good player.
Harrison Reed is warming up. Paulinho, though, is going to be coming off. I don't think they're going to take any risks with that for the combative Portuguese international. Luton Town, Grimsby Town in the FA Cup. John Southall.
It's still goalless. We've had the best chance of the game though for Luton. Elijah Adebayo, 14 yards out, just leaning back over the crossbar. Luton 0, Grimsby 0.
So in the FA Cup, earlier Leeds United beat Accrington by 3-1. Leicester City went through by 1-0 at the Bescott Stadium. These are the latest scores where there have been goals. Blackburn Rovers 0, Birmingham 1, Bristol City 1, West Bromwich Albion 0. Southampton lead Blackpool by 1-0, and of course that goal for Sunderland, who are 1-0 up, and they're on the attack again. And that's a ball that has been flicked back by Ahmed to Patrick Roberts. Michu tried to get there, comes out towards Ahmed, and he hit it low, left-footed. Not a great deal of pace on it, and it was saved by Roda.
Great confidence levels though from Sunderland. I mean, they're bopping the ball around for fun. Some great little one-touch football, 1 and 2 touch football in and around the 18-yard box. Little flicks, little tricks.
Crawley without a win in 4 in League Two, are leading Salford by 1-0. Fulham from the back with Tosin to Diop. Back it goes to his fellow central defensive partner, and then out to Kurzawa on this near left-hand side. Solomon now collects it over the halfway line, looks to make that run in towards the centre circle, passes the ball to Tete, and now to Wilson, far side the right, coming in off that touchline. Tete then goes on the overlap. Tete waits, back with the Welsh international Wilson. And again, Sunderland have everybody back behind the ball. Clark and Ahmed there.
It's a great confidence booster for the Sunderland midfield as well, because if Fulham do get it wide and put a cross in the box, they're favourites, Sunderland.
Tete with the cross, reaches Solomon, left-hand side of the penalty area, just up from the byline, runs out of the penalty area left-hand side. Kurzawa then back towards the Israeli international. Short, dark hair. Kurzawa infield, scored against Hull City in the previous round. Kearney to Palhinha. I thought that Palhinha was really struggling, but he's come back onto the field of play.
Ghosted on, didn't even see him.
And you wouldn't even believe that it picked up an injury the way he's running around now.
Yeah, I was just saying before that Fulham were getting in some good areas wide early on in the game, but now they've realised that if they do get wide, which is still on for them, the full-backs are high up the pitch, they can't just put crosses in the box, because Sunderland's 2 centre-backs are winning everything in the air.
I think they've got one of the highest conversion rates for goals from crosses in the Premier League this season. Here is Palhinha, shoots from, I don't know, just under 25 yards out, right-footed, but it was always on the rise and into the Sunderland supporters, so it's a goal kick with Sunderland still leading by 1-0. Back to Jonathan Obrend at St Mary's.
Southampton leading 1-0, but Blackpool so close to an equaliser. Brilliant counter-attack at pace, and Jerry Yates finishing the attack with a shot which was tipped over by a flying Willie Caballero, who's not only in the Southampton goal today, but he's captaining the side. Great save. Southampton 1, Blackpool 0.
Southampton, of course, will be looking to try and overturn that slender deficit for the second leg of the League Cup semi-final on Tuesday. We've got 2 more commentaries today in the FA Cup, 2 more tomorrow, and then on Monday night Derby West Ham, Newcastle Southampton on Tuesday, and then Manchester United Nottingham Forest, although of all of those ties it's the one on Wednesday, which is a mere formality, you would think. Here it's Fulham who've got work to do, as Kearney passes the ball out to Tete. Back it then goes to Diop. Palhinha inside the centre circle to Tosin, and then back it goes on that far side. He'll run forward now, will Diop, finds Tete on that right hand side in front of that Riverside stand.
Good organisation now from Sunderland, because Fulham are keeping the ball across the back and they're looking for a little bit of width or a little ball into the pocket, try and get Pereira or Tom Kearney, but the organisation from Sunderland's back 4 in the midfield has been exceptional.
You know, earlier on when you'd said that I was a little bit of a doom-monger regarding Tony Mowbray's record, I don't want to be a prophet of doom for Marco Silva. But
what have you got?
In terms of balance, he's never been beyond round 4 in 5 attempts as a manager, either with Hull, Watford or Fulham or Everton. So, yeah, so something's going to change, you would think, today. Oh, Pereira goes down inside the penalty area.
No.
Referee Michael Salisbury had a look at it.
Good decision, no penalty, coming together. It's one of them, if you're Pereira, you look around, you ask the question of the referee, but in your heart of hearts you know it wasn't a foul, wasn't a penalty.
We do have VAR today because it's being played at a Premier League ground. Mansfield 2, Doncaster Rovers 0. Palhinha floats it out towards that right hand side. Early ball towards Pereira, looking for the return to Wilson. Neil, though, plays it forward as Sunderland win it back. Ahmad now looks for the early ball towards Clark. It was cut out well by Diop. He had to make that intervention.
I tell you, Ahmad's got some skills. He's got some talent. He's really playing with confidence. He went for a really hard ball right on the centre circle, outside of the left foot, trying to use the spin to try and get his front man away, fraction away from finding him.
Ivory Coast international, was at Rangers on loan last season, 3 goals in 13 appearances. 7 he's already scored, the 20-year-old, as Fulham are coming forward. Wilson to the edge of the area. Wilson just goes close with a left-footed shot. Had a lot of power on it. Just couldn't necessarily find the curl. And it goes for a goal kick. There's been another goal elsewhere in the FA Cup. It's at Ashton Gate. Chris Coles.
Bristol City's good start has turned into an excellent one. Alex Scott has just doubled Bristol City's lead over West Bromwich Albion. Low ball into the box. Scott couldn't miss. And Bristol City have a position of comfort over West Brom. They lead 2-0.
Looking to extend their unbeaten run to 7 games. Bristol City 2, West Bromwich Albion 0. Fulham there, Don, with Wilson. It was a good effort.
Brilliant effort. It was a 1-2, a 3-4 between the two players, Wilson and Pereira, trying to find a top corner, fraction over the bar.
Pereira's just tried to thread a ball through to Vinicius, but Anthony Patterson was there, bolted out with his right arm, all in yellow away towards our left-hand side. Ahmed now runs forward. Leaves it for Roberts to take over. Roberts linking up with Clark. Clark's overhit that one to Ballard, but he's got away from Vinicius. He's over the halfway line now. And the Northern Ireland international tries to switch play to Barr on the left. But Wilson then has overrun it and heads it out of play for a throw.
Well, if you're in Sunderland's midfield, try and get the ball to Ahmad as much as possible, because he's having a field day.
He's very, very lively.
It's the little flicks and the tricks, and for one of so young, his weight of pass is really good. Spatial awareness is good because he knows where to be on the pitch, but no, he's not loose with his touches. He takes care of every pass.
9 appearances during his time at Manchester United. He is on loan from Old Trafford. We'll of course be there at 8 o'clock tonight, after we've brought you Preston Tottenham from 6 o'clock at Deepdale, as Ballard just plays the ball short to Hume. The right back for Sunderland finds Roberts, who plays in Ahmad, and he's now coming up that right touch line, and then he just overruns it as he reaches to the edge of the area.
Shame. Got himself in behind Kazawa, then he was driving at the back line. You know, Tussin faced up 1v1, and just as he was about to do the trick, his touch was just a little bit heavy.
Kazawa inside to Palhinha. Kearney then back, and Fulham looking to build from the back with 13 minutes to go to half-time. Still trailing the Premier League side. 7th in the Premier League, Sunderland 9th in the Championship. Out it goes to Tete. His forward ball stopped by Elise. Pereira just in from the right touchline over the halfway line. It's going to be a Fulham throw over on that right-hand side. After back-to-back defeats in the Premier League, Newcastle and Tottenham, although he's made the 7 changes, Marco Silva will be wanting an opportunity to try and get back to winning ways. There's Kurzawa to Solomon, faced by Neil, and Solomon goes back to Diop.
Just got to work it a little bit quicker, Fulham, when they get the ball, try and pop it off 1 and 2 touch, because the more touches they take, Wilson's just took about 4 or 5 there. Solomon's done the same. It allows Sunderland to get back into their shape.
Another good challenge coming in from the midfield from Dan Neil. Talked before about the injuries to Stewart and going off, Ross Stewart, but Dan Neil has really come back from a terrible injury. It was about 6-7 years ago. It was almost he's broken up the passage there, but he had surgery to a damaged femur. He was on crutches for 9 months, 6 of which he actually couldn't put his foot down at all. He was out of the game for 18 months, but when he was an England youth international, he was playing with your Sakas and your Curtis Jones. And speaking to his dad, Chris, you know, he's had to show...
Different side, isn't it? The mental side.
For such a young lad to have a bad injury like that.
Of course, because you never know as a youngster. I never had an injury till I was 30 before I ruptured an ACL. So if you get that injury when you're very young, it must mentally be very hard when you see all the young players that you've played with go on to certain levels, and you've got to stay behind and do rehab for nearly 2 years.
And certainly, I think I was reading this week that they're looking to try and open up more contract talks for him. He's highly rated. You'll hear a lot more of Dan Neil, I can guarantee you that. Kearney with a cross, left corner of the area. Another goal at Ewood Park. Ellen Ellard.
It's an equaliser for Blackburn. Blackburn 1, 1, Birmingham 1. Bradley Dack clearing up an absolute mess in the box. Neil Etheridge got a hand to it, but in the end, the captain, who is in brilliant form, taps it home from short range. Blackburn 1, Birmingham 1.
Thank you, Ellen. We've got just over 10 minutes to go to half time. Slip by Clark. Kurzawa, Kearney. Back now to Diop on that far side. Wilson midway through the Sunderland half. But again, Sunderland have got a lot of their red and white shirts back behind the ball, making it very, very difficult for Fulham to try and prise a way through. They're having to be patient.
Yeah, that's because Fulham are taking too many touches.
Here is that's the voice of Don Hutchison, former Sunderland player.
Now, when you do sessions a day or two leading up to the game, the last session a manager normally does is 1 and 2 touch. That's what Fulham have got to start doing in this game.
Now it's with Solomon. Comes on the inside, away from Neil. Shapes to shoot. A good block coming in from Ballard. Just threw himself at that, the central defender. Out it goes for a Fulham throw.
What a block. Imagine John Terry putting his body on the line. That's exactly what Ballard's just done there. Shot from distance from Solomon.
He's been a good signing from Arsenal on a free, and it goes to the penalty area to Vinicius, trying to bring that ball under control. And then as he goes inside, Wilson was trying to play the ball forward, but nobody had made that run on the right-hand side. Clearance by Elise, picked up by Pereira. Fulham still looking to threaten in the closing stages of this first half. Under 10 minutes to go to half-time. Sunderland still lead through that early Jack Clark goal. Solomon coming infield now on the left-hand side, enters the penalty area, shrugged off the ball by Roberts. And Ahmed back there will chip it forward. A goal at Middlesbrough in the Championship. John Bennett.
Yeah, and it's gone to Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough 1, Watford 0. Cameron Archer should have scored 1-on-1 with the keeper. The keeper made a save, but Chuba Akpong was following up with a header into the back of the net. Middlesbrough 1, Watford 0.
Crawley 2, Salford 0 is the latest score in League 2. There's been a sending off at Ibrox. Roddy Forsyth.
It's going to be a long afternoon for St Johnstone. Nicky Clark has been shown the red card after a VAR check. It was for a tackle he put in on Ryan Jack that left the midfielder writhing. So St Johnstone down to 10 men and a goal behind. Rangers 1, St Johnstone 0, and St Johnstone's manager has just been yellow carded.
Thank you, Roddy. The ball was just hit long there. Wilson made, he was unmarked, he made a dash into the penalty area, but Patterson was quickly off his goal line.
It was one of them where he ran in behind. It was a good ball to try and find him. Goalkeeper come off the line. I don't think Harry Wilson fancied the collision with the goalkeeper. Don't blame him.
Cleared away by Bart. Anthony Patterson established himself last season. He's just actually been voted the FWA Football Writers Association North East Young Player of the Year, so he'll be collecting that award in early March at the Ramside Hall. When
what a venue that is, by the way.
It's a very, very popular venue in the North East. Bruno Guimaraes was named as the North East Writers Player of the Year as Roberts coming forward over the halfway line, loses out to toss him, but then wins it back. There's Roberts, tries to thread it through. Barr is there, he's forced out wide left-hand side of the penalty area, keeps the ball in play. Sunderland looking to add to their lead. Barr with the cross and gathered in by Rodak at his near post. We'll go to Portman Road now. Aaron Paul.
Ipswich 0, Burnley 0. Another massive chance for the home side here. Caden Jackson down the right-hand side, flew past the fullback. He popped across in towards the back post. Bailey Peacock-Farrell backpedaling again. Had to get a couple of fingertips on it as it looked like it was creeping into the top corner of the net. He managed to palm it over the bar. Burnley not at the races this afternoon, but it remains 0-0.
Thank you, Aaron. Sunderland still here by a goal to 0. Did you frequent Durham many times when you were at Sunderland?
Lived there. Lived in Durham, yeah. Beautiful place.
Beautiful city.
If I won the lottery, that's exactly where I'd retire to.
If you won the lottery?
Yeah. Straight to Durham.
Here is Solomon. Vinicius looking to turn, gets the shot away. Ballard with a block, then almost presents it back to Vinicius, and then cleared away by Ballard. Tete will pick it up. It was the crowd more than anybody else who were looking for a half-hearted penalty appeal. Back it goes then to Tosin, to Kurzawa on this left-hand side, coming forward, area to run into, and it's the cross into the penalty area, and eventually Elise gets the ball away and lifts it long. Defending well, the Championship team.
Yeah, slightly different in the last 2 or 3 minutes because they recognise they're close to half-time, so they're not trying to play it from the back when they're under pressure. They're just trying to go long, just to try and get their red and white shirts back into shape.
Ball over the top. Tete is there, and the ball goes out of play. It's going to be a corner kick. We'll quickly go to Kenilworth Road. John Southall.
Luton 0, Grimsby 0. Harry Cornish just smashed one over the bar for Luton, and Bryn Morris for Grimsby. 20-yarder, had time to pick his spot straight to the keeper. 0-0.
Thank you, John. Pereira places the ball down in the quadrant. For all of Fulham's possession, they haven't really tested Patterson in the Sunderland goal. What can they do with this set piece? Far side to right. Looks like it's going to be an outswinger from Pereira. In it comes now from the right, and the downward header by Kurzawa, and then Vinicius just couldn't get on the end of it as it runs wide out for a goal kick.
Unlucky. Well rehearsed. Whipped outswinger towards Kurzawa. He won the first header, then that little header towards the far post. That's where you're looking for another white shirt to try and get the tap in. And Carlos Vinicius just couldn't get there.
Scored against Hull City in the FA Cup, did the French defender. One of the 7 changes being made by Marco Silva here today for the Premier League team. And unable to get on the end of it was Vinicius. Clearance from Patterson. Didn't really seem to know where the ball was, Trey Hume, the right back, as he jumped into the air, and then the ball over the top of Solomon, and out of play it goes for a throw. Will that disappoint Marco Silva, do you think, the fact that they haven't tested the keeper enough?
Absolutely. And I think the dilemma that he's got as well, he'll probably be looking and having a conversation with his backroom staff about Alexander Mitrovic, but you're bringing a guy you want who's 6'3", 6'4", very good in the air. But the problem is for him, if you make that sort of change, Sunderland's 2 centre-backs look about 6'4", 6'5", they've not lost a header. They need something different.
Free kick given away to Sunderland. Neil takes it and finds Roberts on the halfway line on the right-hand side. Links up with Ahmed once again. Roberts now running forward, away from Kurzawa on this near side. Roberts, they've doubled up on him, tries to come in between the two and succeeds. Enters the penalty area, back towards Ahmed, and he just puts it wide. Left-footed, he went towards the near post rather than the left-hand side of the goal.
Should have went far post if he has this one back again. It was lovely play. Intricate passing from Sunderland, and they just found Ahmad inside the 18-yard box, and he wriggles away from a couple of players close to the penalty spot, and he's got to put that, everything that you're taught from coaches, you're taught to put that across goal towards the far post. If the goalkeeper pulls off a save, someone's potentially got a tap in. He just sort of wrapped his foot around it too much and pulled it.
It was a good opportunity for Sunderland, and lovely work down the right-hand side as well. Leicester Northampton.
That's late.
James Burridge.
For Northampton, 19 points to 18, nerve-wracking and cagey. 2 minutes 30 to go in.
Shot comes in from Pereira. What a goal line clearance that was from Ballard. Cross from Solomon on the left. Pereira unmarked. Goal bound all the way, and Ballard somehow manages to clear it.
I can't believe that's not gone in the back of the net. It was a dangerous foul in the middle of the park from Sunderland's point of view. The referee played a great advantage, but a beautiful strike. And how on earth this has not gone in the back of the net, I'll never know. 6, 7, 8 yards. Defender on the line has done miracles.
Well, Pereira can't believe it. He just struck it down, and the keeper doesn't really move. Patterson.
Ballard on the line.
Ballard, yeah.
What a block.
Absolutely brilliant defending.
He literally left Pereira because he thought there's no way I can get there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprint back on my line and hopefully I can get the block on, and he did. What a decision.
Well, it was excellent anticipation from the 23-year-old Northern Ireland international. Had lower experience at Blackpool and Millwall, picked up on a free from Arsenal, and the Sunderland fans have really taken to him, and you can certainly see why. Excellent reading of the situation, and Fulham very, very close to an equaliser. Tete swings in the cross, cleared away by Hume, picked up by Neil, runs into trouble with Paulinho, and Paulinho has given away a free kick in favour of the referee, though, showed a yellow card to Elise.
That's for the tackle in the middle of the park that led to Fulham's chance. That was the advantage that the referee played. This one, from Fulham's point of view, that's never a foul, ever.
Michael Salisbury, as you said in the time, Don, it was a good advantage, wasn't it?
It was a great advantage. Elise went in with it was an awful tackle, not a red card tackle, but it was a sort of late one. Went in with a little bit of force.
He's had to remember that for a while, because we've been at least 2 or 3 minutes, but Elise has eventually been booked. But good refereeing from Michael Salisbury. Burton 1, Oxford United 0 is a latest score in League One. MK Dons 0, Exeter 1 is another latest score in League One too. But in the FA Cup fourth round, Sunderland still lead as we edge our way towards half-time. Ahmed, been a real threat throughout the whole afternoon so far for Sunderland on the right.
Best two players on the pitch has been Ahmed and Patrick Roberts. Been excellent, as well as the centre-backs, obviously.
Know all about Patrick Roberts here at Craven Cottage. 22 appearances in 14-15 campaign before he left to Manchester City. Ahmed again picks it up, plays the ball into the penalty area, cleared away by Diop, and then back it goes for Sunderland with Roberts trying to get round the back of Solomon. Stumbles, falls over. The assistant referee says it'll be a goal kick. Well, we'll find out. I would imagine there'll be a good 4 or 5 minutes of added on time with that what looked like a bad injury to Ross Stewart. Goal at Kenilworth Road meanwhile. John Southall.
Hold on, Luton 0, Grimsby 1 just before half-time. Holohan with a header from about 12 yards out, went through everybody and nestled into the bottom left-hand corner, and the 1,500 Grimsby fans with their inflatable haddocks are celebrating. Luton 0, Grimsby 1.
Well, that takes you back, doesn't it, with the old inflatables and the haddocks for Grimsby, who are in the fourth round for the first time since 2000. As Pereira forward now for Fulham. Tete with the cross, headed away by Ballard once again. 4 minutes of added on time, which we're now into here at Craven Cottage on BBC Radio 5 Live, or the World Service, or indeed you might be listening through the BBC Sounds app. Pereira running infield, a straight line.
Different dynamics now for Sunderland, because they recognise they're close to half-time, so I would imagine they'll go a little bit deep, a little bit defensive, and keep Fulham in front of them if they can.
Pereira back with Palhinha. And now
Marco Silva's gone ballistic. He wants runners, I think, from midfield. Always asking Carlos Vinicius, instead of coming short, to try and get in behind.
Here is Kearney, who right hand side of the penalty area. He gestures, doesn't seem too happy either, Kearney, whether it's a lack of movement, but twice he's just thrown his arms to the side there as Palhinha loses out into Michu. Michu now with Ahmed. What a turn away from Tosin, and then he tried to release Clark, but
how sharp was he there?
Very sharp.
The ball got played into him, and Tosin, who is 6'4", 6'5", tried to get tight, but Ahmed, with his sort of diminutive style, just sort of wriggled away from him far too easily. Like, really sharp touch.
Yeah. Tosin, meanwhile, reminded you of a double-decker doing a three-point turn.
There's me trying to be kind as well by just saying 6'4", 6'5". You've gone all in with a double-decker.
I'll blame it on the salmon and the prawns. Full time in the rugby, James Borridge.
Northampton with a famous victory, 19 points to 18. Huge heart, huge character, and Ollie Slightholme's try, the defining score. George Furbank also excellent from the tee, and a big shock here in the East Midlands derby.
Hibs 3, Aberdeen 0 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Fulham in added time. Kazawa on this near side, the left, level with the penalty area. Kenny wants the ball to feet. Kazawa looks to go on the outside of Hume, but Hume stands up well, gets the foot into the challenge, and then he's brought down to ground, and it will be a free kick to Sunderland.
Great defending there from Hume. 1v1 with Kazawa. Kazawa knocked it past him, foot race, strength, got there, got the foul.
Relatively inexperienced, a £200,000 buy from Linfield last January. But this really has been his breakthrough season. It's his 13th appearance of the campaign for the young Northern Ireland defender, and certainly he did well there, as Sunderland throughout actually have defended extremely well. So in stoppage time, the Championship side still leading through that Jack Clark goal after 6 minutes, and have actually had chances as well to increase their lead. Mind you, Wilson also went close for Fulham, but Sunderland voices you can hear here at Craven Cottage. As now coming forward, Neil, cut out by Tete, won back though by Michu. Out it goes now to Barr, runs through. This is Neil, shot charged down, might come back towards Neil. Sunderland are still keeping the ball, and out to Ahmed on this right hand side, who actually just stops, then does a little flick around with his left boot, looks to come and wriggle his way through two white shirts, but he stopped and he stayed down. Fulham will try and break, Sunderland go and press, and the referee gives a free kick to the home side. Back to the northeast we go, a goal at Middlesbrough. John Bennett.
A second goal for Middlesbrough. Marcus Force with the finish after a brilliant through ball by Johnny Howson. The half-time whistle has just gone as well. Middlesbrough 2, Watford 0.
Michu with a boot through ball to Ahmed. Ahmed in a central area wins a corner kick. Another chance there for the Championship team.
Brilliant chance. I mean, he's so pacey, Ahmed. He's playing with loads of confidence, as I've said so many times. But referee give a free kick, and then Fulham tried to play counter-attacking football and got nicked off them in the middle of the park, and then Ahmed was racing away inside the 18-yard box. In the end, it took both defenders, Tosin and Diop, to try and put the block on him.
Corner kick then to Sunderland at the Hammersmith end of the ground here at Craven Cottage. Corner kick far side, didn't beat the first man, headed out by Tete, and Michael Salisbury blows his half-time whistle. Just before that corner was taken, actually, he booked Harry Wilson. So the referees tried to let the game flow. A little bit of dissent, I think, from Harry Wilson. But Jack Clark's goal after 6 minutes. Don Hutchison, your thoughts?
Sunderland deserve it, absolutely. Fulham started really well, but 3 or 4 minutes in, they looked good. They were passing the ball, and all of a sudden Sunderland got their goal. And it was a fantastic finish, a mistake from Issa Diop at the back from Fulham. Jack Clark then stuck it in the back of the net. Since they got the goal, Sunderland have been well deserved in their lead. They could have had maybe one more.
Certainly Ahmed has gone close on a couple of occasions, and Wilson close for Fulham. But story here at Craven Cottage, Fulham 0, Sunderland 1.
Championship League, Premier League then at Craven Cottage, Premier League League Championship at St Mary's. Jonathan Overend.
Southampton 1, Blackpool 0, although the Saints have got Willie Caballero, their captain for the day, to thank for preserving the lead given to them on 21 minutes by Romain Perrault, because it was a flying save from Caballero to his left to deny Jerry Yates after a fast-paced Blackpool counter-attack. That was comfortably the Championship side's best moment. They've certainly been involved, but Franny Benali, Southampton have seen more of the ball, and through Edozie in particular, they're a threat.
Yeah, most definitely, Jonathan. They've taken the lead through Perrault with that strike from the free kick, and certainly looking at the first half, Sam Edozie, the youngster playing out here on the right wing, is looked the most dangerous threat, I think, for Southampton going forward, apart from the odd attack from Perrault and Orsic on the left-hand side. But Blackpool's still in this game at 1-0. There's still everything to play for. They haven't been in the game an awful amount too much, so they need to get a bit more possession of the football in the second half.
Well, the goal came thanks to a ball over the top from Lavia, who's playing in midfield, deep line position. Edozie was through on goal, wasn't he? Hauled back by Hamilton. Free kick just outside the box. And who needs James Ward-Prowse, Franny, when you got Romain Perrault?
Well, it's interesting. The set pieces have been very different today. They've obviously looked at Blackpool as the opposition, played virtually every single corner bar one, a short corner. So, yeah, they're probably wondering who was going to take any kind of corners and free kicks today. But Perrault stepped up and he's delivered.
They're just lucky to have a go, aren't they? Southampton 1, Blackpool 0 at half-time.
Thank you two. Goalless at Portman Road. Aaron Paul.
Yeah, Ipswich 0, Burnley 0. The home side have been excellent and will be disappointed to not be in front. George Hurst toe-poked an effort wide in the early minutes following some good work down the right by Caden Jackson. Minutes later, and Marcus Harness clipped the crossbar with a looping shot which had the goalkeeper stranded. Jay Rodriguez fired a shot over the bar in Burnley's only real chance, cutting in from the left and just popping his effort into the bank of Ipswich fans before his goalkeeper made two really good saves to keep Caden Jackson and Sam Morsey out. You'd imagine Vincent Kompany will be looking to his options on the bench pretty soon if things stay the same, because at the break it is Ipswich 0, Burnley 0.
If you're looking for shock of the round based on league places between the two teams, then it's at the moment it's coming at Kenilworth Road. John Southall.
Yes, 57 places between Luton and Grimsby Town, but Grimsby League 2 lead by a goal to nil at half-time. It came right on half-time. Gavin Houlihan, 25-yard volley, tipped over the crossbar, and from the corner, Houlihan was there again, 12 yards out to guide a header into the bottom left-hand corner. Really good finish that. Luton yet to have a shot on target. Adebayo and Cornish both put efforts over the crossbar, but you have to say at half-time, Grimsby, they've been under pressure, they've soaked it up, and they deserve this lead in their salmon pink, and they'll be attacking the Haddocks in the second half. Luton 0, Grimsby 1.
Is this going to go all the way to full time?
I suspect so.
Yeah, so do I. All square between Blackburn and Birmingham. Ellen Allard.
Yeah, half-time, Blackburn 1, Birmingham 1, but neither of these sides will want to replay. It was former Blackburn man Raider Kadra with the first goal, a low ball in, which Kaminsky got a hand to before it pinged into the back of the net 3 minutes minutes in, Bradley Dack then levelled out the scoreline with 10 minutes before the break, tapping home from close range as the ball bounced around the 6-yard box. But at half-time, Blackburn 1, Birmingham 1.
Every tie at the moment is all square or has just the one goal in it, except the one at Ashton Gate. Chris Coles.
Where Bristol City have a 2-goal lead over West Brom, a deserved advantage for a team enjoying their best form of the season. 6 unbeaten heading into today. Their confidence apparent in an excellent first half. Sam Bell curled beautifully into the corner for the opener. Alex Scott, who's been catching the eye of Premier League clubs, got the second, tapping in a Mark Sykes cross. West Brom have looked a million miles from the team charging up the Championship. Hesitant at the back, ponderous in possession, snatchy with their few chances. OK Yokujlu heading their best opportunity just wide. They'll need to be much better after the break if they're to get back into this one. Bristol City 2, West Brom 0.
On paper, the all League One tie doesn't look like it's setting the pulses racing, Maz Faruqi.
Fair to say, Mark, I think. Yeah, the match in League One between these two sides last weekend, won by Wednesday by a single goal, and again the margin's been very, very tight so far this afternoon. Again, 0-0 between Wednesday and Fleetwood at half-time. The best chance actually coming for Fleetwood, although Wednesday have dominated possession. A looping cross from the left having to be cleared effectively off the line by Wednesday, and the home fans are getting frustrated as well by what they perceive as time wasting and disrupting tactics from Fleetwood players going down, requiring treatment a fair bit, I have to say, taking plenty of time as well, Fleetwood, to take throw-ins. So far though, it is working for Scott Brown's team. Wednesday 0, Fleetwood 0 at half-time.
Earlier, if you missed it, Leicester won 1-0 at Walsall and Leeds United beat Accrington Stanley by 3-1. There are 3 games in the Championship this afternoon. Let's go to Middlesbrough, where it's been a good first 45 minutes for the home side. John Bennett.
Yeah, they've been excellent. Middlesbrough 2, Watford 0, a deserved lead for Michael Carrick's side. 2 goals in the 10 minutes before half-time. First, Cameron Archer ran one-on-one at the keeper, who made a save. Chuba Akpong followed up. He miskicked it, but it flicked up to his head, and he nodded in his 14th of the season past the sprawling Hamza Chowdhury on the line. Then, in injury time, Marcus Forss made it 2 after a lovely Johnny Howson through ball. At the other end, Watford's only opportunity was a great chance. Matthias Martins running clear on the left, curled a shot over. Awful finish. Borough in third. As it stands, Middlesbrough 2, Watford 0.
2 other games in the Championship. It's goalless between Coventry, who haven't won in their last 5 in the league, and Huddersfield, and Hull lead QPR by 1-0 at the break. Aaron Connolly, who is on loan from Brighton, getting the goal for Liam Rosenior's side. Earlier in League One, it finished Charlton 1, Bolton 2. Dion Charles getting the Bolton winner, 14 for the season for him. In the 3 o'clocks, we'll start with bottom of the table Forest Green Rovers, who are at Shrewsbury. They're under new management and they lead at the break. Charlie Slater.
They do indeed. Shrewsbury 0, Forest Green 1. So far so good for Duncan Ferguson. The new era started with a bang thanks to Jordan Garrick, who found the top corner from 20 yards inside the first 20 minutes. They've also limited Shrewsbury to very little at the other end, and they had a second goal ruled out rightly for offside. Forest Green haven't won away since opening day. They're halfway there. Shrewsbury 0, Forest Green 1 at the break.
Elsewhere in League One, Burton, who are next to bottom and have lost their last 2, lead Oxford by 1-0 at half-time thanks to an own goal. It's goalless between Cheltenham and Port Vale, and Lincoln and Cambridge. Exeter leader MK Dons by 1-0 thanks to a penalty from Giovanni Brown. 13 for the season now for him. Morecambe, who are in the bottom 4, lead Bristol Rovers by 1-0. It's Peterborough 2, Portsmouth 0. Both goals coming from Johnson Clark-Harris. One of them a penalty. 17 for the season for him. Into League 2, the leaders Leyton Orient are at Tranmere, as is Lee Blakeman.
Tranmere 0, Leyton Orient 0. A game about as entertaining as that scoreline suggests so far. Orient the leaders with a couple of half chances. Theo Archibald heading wide and curling a shot just wide from the edge of the box. Tranmere have had a couple of efforts from distance, but there's been just one shot on target in the whole half. It's been a bit of a shocker, if the truth be told. Half-time, Tranmere 0, Leyton Orient 0.
Goalless between AFC Wimbledon and Stockport, and Barrow and Northampton. Crawley lead Salford by 2-0. Dom Telford with his 9th of the season, and the defender Dion Conroy with his 1st for the club. Harrogate 0, Sutton 1. Hartlepool trail Colchester by 1-0. They're on a great run of form away from home at Colchester. They've won their last 3 away. They're on course to make it 4 away from home with a 100% record. Mansfield 2, Doncaster 0. Rochdale, who are bottom of the table, trail Carlisle by a goal to 0. It's Swindon 1, Gillingham 3. Jonathan Williams put Swindon ahead in the first minute of that game. 8 for the season for him. Gillingham then scored 3 goals before the game had even reached 15 minutes, and that's the score at half-time. Swindon 1, Gillingham 3. Into the Scottish Premiership, where the story is likely to be at Easter Road. Hibs lead Aberdeen by 3 goals to 0, which can't be good news for Aberdeen's manager Jim Goodwin after they were knocked out of the Scottish Cup by Darvel during the week. He is under severe pressure and they are being walloped at half-time. Elsewhere, Ross County 1, Kilmarnock 0, St Mirren 1, Motherwell 0, and at Ibrox, Roddy Forsyth.
Rangers 1, St Johnstone 0. St Johnstone down to 10 men. They conceded the earlier goal through a penalty kick when James Brown handled. Tavernier put it away as he usually does for Rangers. Then a red card check for VAR found that Nick Clark had committed a serious foul on Ryan Jack. Off he went. Immediately from that, Rangers went upfield. Jack then triggered a VAR check for a tackle on Montgomery, which in my view was worth a red card, but he got away with it, at least according to the VAR and the referee. And so it continued to half-time at 1-0. And then Dre Wright went round the Rangers goalkeeper inside the Rangers box and fell over. You couldn't get any more Pascal unless you're at Easter Road. Rangers 1, St Johnstone 0.
What's your half-time entertainment?
It's Armed Forces Day here at Ibrox, and that's an army piper.
Thank you. In the Scottish Championship, goalless between Dundee and the leaders Queen's Park. Morton lead Arbroath by a goal to 0. It's Partick 0, Hamilton 0 and Wraith 1, Inverness 0. In Scottish League 1, good first half for Airdrieonians. They lead Alloa by 3 goals to 0. Bottom of the table, Clyde actually took the lead at home to top of the table, Dunfermline, but that's 1-1 at the break. Goalless between FC Edinburgh and Falkirk. Montrose lead Kelty Hearts by 2 goals to 1, and it's Peterhead 1, Queen of the South 0. In League 2, Albion Rovers 0, Forfar 0. Annan 1, East Fife 0. Dumbarton, the leaders, lead bottom of the table. Bonnyrigg Rose by a goal to 0. Stenhousemuir 1, Elgin 0. Stirling 0, Stranraer 0. Half-time in the Welsh Premier, Pennybont 3, Newtown 0. Half-time in the Northern Irish Premiership, Carrick Rangers and Glenavon are both down to 10, and that's goalless at the break. Cliftonville lead Ballymena 2-0, Dungannon 0, Coleraine 1, and Portadown 1, Linfield 2. Just realised I haven't given you the National League half-times. Aldershot are 1-0 up on Oldham. Altrincham 0, Borehamwood 1. Barnet lead Chesterfield by a goal to 0. Dagenham and Redbridge are down to 10 and trail Yeovil by a goal to 0. Dorking down to 10 and trail Solihull Moors by a goal to 0. The leaders, Notts County, are 1 up at home to Halifax. Goalless between Scunthorpe and Bromley. Southend 0, Eastleigh 1. Torquay 0, Maidstone 0. Wealdstone 1, Gateshead 0. And York 0, Maidenhead 1. In the Premiership Rugby earlier, Leicester 18, Northampton 19. Half-time at Saracens, and they trail Bristol by 8 points to 0. 3 Premier 15s women's games have ended. Harlequins beat Durham 49-5. Saracens won 36-5 at Bristol, and Exeter have thrashed Wasps 84 points to 0. Just after 4 o'clock, here's Stuart Clarkson.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thank you, Mark. And in the past hour, the Welsh Government has announced that the wife of the First Minister, Mark Drakeford, has died suddenly. Tributes have been paid to Claire Drakeford by fellow political leaders this afternoon. Downing Street says the Prime Minister's passed on his deepest condolences to Mr Drakeford privately. Also today, a 15-year-old girl's died after she was stabbed in Hexham in Northumberland. It happened around 5 o'clock yesterday, tea time. A 16-year-old boy suffered serious injuries in the attack as well. Another teenage boy has been arrested on suspicion of murder. Flybe has collapsed into administration and cancelled all flights. About 75,000 people are affected. 2,500 had tickets to fly today, and most of the company's 320 staff have been made redundant. And the UK's first multi-charity department stores opened. The pop-up charity supermarket at Brent Cross Shopping Centre in North London. It's being staffed by volunteers and selling donated clothes from 10 different charities, including Barnardo's, Cancer Research, Shelter and Age UK.
Tailenders. Much more than just a cricket podcast.
Loosely cricket-based, meaning we very rarely talk about world cricket.
Yes, but when we need to, we can do.
Boy, can we deliver. As England's greatest ever bowler, you don't need to do this podcast, but why do you?
he just looks as if that's the realisation he just had. Why do I need? I don't need to do this.
I'm not sure that's a question you want to delve into.
Tailenders, catch up on BBC Sounds. This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
We were talking earlier, if you were listening, with Ian Carter, our correspondent at the Dubai Desert Classic, that there was a possibility that after the various spats that have gone on, Patrick Reed and Rory McIlroy could have been paired together for the third round there, bearing in mind they were both on 8 under. However, that is not going to happen now because of the order that the players came into the clubhouse at the end of the second round. So McIlroy and Reed, unfortunately for a lot of us, are not going to be going out together for the third round of the Dubai Desert Classic. We'll hear more from Ian Carter and possibly Rory McIlroy during Sports Report tonight. We've got an hour-long Sports Report, and then at 6 o'clock we're at Deepdale for Preston against Tottenham, and then at 8 o'clock we've got commentary from Old Trafford of Manchester United against Reading. Half-time so far in the FA Cup third round, 3 o'clock kickoffs. Southampton lead Blackpool by a 0-0, goalless between Ipswich and Burnley, and Sheffield Wednesday and Fleetwood. Luton are behind at home to Grimsby by a 0-0. It's Blackburn 1, Birmingham 1, and Bristol City lead West Brom by 2-0. And at Craven Cottage, I've just seen a very determined Tony Mowbray walking across the pitch with his Sunderland side a goal up. Let's rejoin Don and Ian.
Thank you, Mark. And Tony Mowbray is going to be making another change. If you've just joined us, they lost their striker Ross Stewart with what looked like a bad injury. He was carried off on a stretcher, so Abdul Bar came on to replace him. And then they're making another change now, and it's Adji Elise, the left back, who has been replaced by Niall Huggins, a 22-year-old defender who they got on a free from Leeds United. Actually only one appearance this season, so only his 6th for the club altogether, so he has come on at the start of half-time. I'll give you the Fulham team. Rodak is in goal, Tete, Tosin, Diop and Kurzawa, and then you've got Paulinho, Kearney, Wilson, Solomon, Pereira and Vinicius. White shirts, black shorts for Fulham, who are playing from left to right as we look against a Sunderland side who lead by a 0-0. Jack Clark dispossessing Diop to go away and score. Patterson is in goal for the Championship side. A defence now of Hume, Ballard, Bart and Huggins. A midfield of Roberts on the right, Michu, Neil, Clark with Ahmed and Bart. That's how Sunderland line up, and they are attacking the Putney end of the ground here at Craven Cottage, where their 6,000 travelling support are housed, and extremely vocal they have been throughout the game so far. And they're on the attack once more, but Roberts unable to keep the ball in play. Don Hutchison.
Yeah, a couple of things for Huggins, maybe coming on for Elise. Might have been a knock, but Elise was on a yellow card, so I wonder if Tony Mowbray's took that decision to take him off the pitch, being on a yellow, because the last thing you need, well, in any game really, but if you're leading 1-0 away from home against a team like Fulham in the Premier League, you want all 11 on the pitch.
Former Scottish international Don Hutchison, who's with us. Morecambe 2, Bristol Rovers 0. Latest score in the Scottish Premiership, Ross County 2, Kilmarnock 0. And another goal in the FA Cup at Ewood Park. Ellen Ellard.
Blackburn Rovers lead. Joel Rankin Costello, he had an assist for the first goal. He's now got one of his own. Poor defending from Birmingham. Rankin Costello picked it up on the edge of the area and sent it past Neil Etheridge. Blackburn Rovers 2, Birmingham City 1.
Another goal at Ashton Gate. Chris Coles.
Could be the decisive one as well. A third for Bristol City. Bristol City 3, West Brom 0. Sam Bell again. Great ball in. Wonderful first touch. Dinked it over the goalkeeper. And Ashton Gate is jubilant. Bristol City 3, West Brom 0.
We're in the 47th minute, and all of a sudden Solomon on the left-hand side, making his way around the back. But again, it was Bart this time who cleared the ball away. You can't fault the defence, can you, of Sunderland?
Been brilliant. I mean, Solomons must have got a rocket off the manager at half-time because the first couple of minutes he's been really direct. He's took the full-backs on. He's driving into Sunderland's 18-yard box. So a decent response from Fulham.
Trailing 1-0. They've been eliminated from 7 of their last 8 FA Cup fourth-round ties. The exception was when they trounced Hull City in 2017 by 4-1. But they are trailing here to this Tony Mowbray's team, who actually are unbeaten in 7 away games away from home since they lost at Blackburn in mid-October. Patterson waits to take the goal kick. Marco Silva has got some work to do. Otherwise, Fulham will be a casualty in this FA Cup. Patterson to take it. Strikes it right-footed, strikes it long. In the air goes Tosin. Challenged then by Ahmad, picked up by Michu, out towards Roberts, right-hand side. Roberts cuts inside. Roberts has done well. Roberts is still going, almost gets it through. It will break now towards Barr, who hits it right-footed, and he's just dragged it wide. That was close.
A little bit like that Ahmad chance. Pulled it across the near post. Should have took a little bit more time. Had maybe a little bit more composure in him. Try and find it to the far post. A little bit like Nathan Ake's finish. That's the type of finish Barr needed there. Far post. Take a bit of pace off and go for the accuracy.
Penalty at Kenilworth Road, John Southall.
And it's a penalty for Luton. Luton 0, Grimsby 1. Gabriel Osho was brought down in the penalty area, and the penalty is about to be taken for Luton to get back in the game. Elijah Adebayo, the man who's going to step up and take it. The goalkeeper bounces up and down on his line. Max Crocombe, he's making weight. Here he comes on his right foot, steps up and puts it into the bottom right-hand corner. 7th of the season for Elijah Adebayo. And how important could that be? Luton 1, Grimsby 1.
The two results in the early kickoffs in the FA Cup 4th round. Accrington 1, Leeds United 3, Walsall 0, Leicester City 1. These are the latest scores. Blackburn 2, Birmingham 1, Bristol City 3, West Bromwich Albion 0. Sunderland still lead here by a goal to 0. No goals at Portman Road between Ipswich and Burnley. We break off because Fulham are attacking. Wilson, penalty area, comes onto his left foot. Wilson, brilliant save by Patterson. Left-footed curler. And Patterson just threw himself away to his right-hand side with a two-handed save.
What a save. Good football all round. I mean, Harry Wilson found himself on the right-hand side. Now he wants to jink inside onto his left foot. He's never going to go to the byline. Worked half a yard, fired it towards the stanchion, but brilliant save from Anthony Patterson away to his right-hand side.
As you've just heard from John Southall, Luton are level 1-1 with Grimsby. Sheffield Wednesday and Fleetwood is still 0-0. Southampton lead Blackpool by a goal to 0. Our next commentary will be from Deepdale at 6 after Sports Report. We might well be having Tony Mowbray on live celebrating a Sunderland win as they still lead by a goal to 0. But Fulham get the ball back on the halfway line. What a save from Patterson.
Brilliant save. Well, he's seen enough here, Marco Silva, in the start of the second half that the team talks had an effect. I think he'll still have one idea or the plan to bring Bobby D. Cordova-Reid to add more speed and more skill in a wide area, but it's been a decent response. Test now for Sunderland away from home.
Yeah, it certainly is. 5 minutes into the second half as Kazawa comes forward over on that far side, the left. The cross goes in early and it's gathered in by the Sunderland keeper. Patterson just dives forward onto his knees inside that 6-yard area.
I'm just looking at Marco Silva. I don't know if he's frustrated with the runs of Carlos Vinicius. There's nothing he could have done about the final ball in. It was nowhere near him, but his head goes down, Marco Silva, every time the ball goes near him. So I wonder if that might be the sort of change Mitrovic for Carlos Vinicius, Bobby D. Cordova-Reid. So they've got enough weapons on the bench, Fulham.
Mitrovic, as a former Newcastle striker, might get an interesting reaction from the Sunderland fans. It's no longer goalless at Hillsborough. Maz Faruqi.
And Fleetwood are ahead here. Promise Omochero with a lovely finish. It's been coming for Fleetwood. They've started the second half brilliantly and they have the lead here. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Fleetwood 1.
Ahmad forces a save from Rodak. Entered the right-hand side of the penalty area, drilled it in low. Rodak saves it with his legs.
Proper FA Cup game. Just when you think Fulham are getting back into the game, forcing 1 or 2 saves. Sunderland then break where Ahmad tries to fire it across with his right foot instead of the left. Forces a corner.
Coventry City without a win in 5 in the Championship are leading Huddersfield Town 1-0. Corner kick, swung over from the right. Ballard was up there. Last touch came off a Fulham head. And it goes behind for another corner kick. So Sunderland now with another set piece with that corner, putting pressure on the Fulham defence. You can hear the reaction from the massed ranks in the red and white away towards our left-hand side. Ballard is up again, as is Danny Bart, who tries to get on the end of it on that occasion. Tosin heads it out, headed back by Neil, back out towards Roberts, right-hand side. Sunderland still threatening. Roberts shoots! And Rodak has to spoon it behind for another corner kick.
Well, Rodak just done enough, with Sunderland piling on the pressure. 2 really good corner kicks. Well defended from Tosin. He's not lost the header in a couple there, important, but then all of a sudden Sunderland get the shots away and force a third corner inside a minute.
Corner kick Swung over again by Roberts, punched out by Rodak inside the 6-yard area. Fulham now can break. Pereira is released over the halfway line, has support from Wilson. Wilson goes on the outside. Wilson enters the penalty area. Good save by the keeper. Stood up as tall as he could from one end to the other. Great cup tie.
Well, and how do you try and call which way this game's going to go? You'd imagine there's going to be a goal in this game, because every time either side break forward, they look like they're going to get chances to score goals. This time it was Harry Wilson breaking away, good pace, gets it on his left foot on the angle. Another save from Patterson.
Both goalkeepers forced into action. Come on Fulham is the chant at Craven Cottage. Corner kick far side the left. Pereira swings it in. Kurzawa was there at the near post, cleared only as far as Kearney. Edge of the area. Out towards Solomon, cuts inside, runs in field just outside the box, goes square. Ball played out by Wilson towards Pereira. Barrow 0, Northampton 1 is the latest score in League 2. High ball comes in, caught by Patterson. Let's go to Portman Road, Aaron Paul.
Ipswich 0, Burnley 0. The visitors turned up the heat here. Nathan Teller's long-range shot from the edge of the D has produced a great save from Latke. Then the Ipswich goalkeeper was back at it again. This time, Jay Rodriguez with a goal gaping, fired a volley in 30 yards out there. Was Latke with a flying save. Ipswich 0, Burnley 0.
And straight to St Mary's, Jonathan Oberend.
Southampton still leading Blackpool 1-0, but the Championship side should be level. Bizarre moment as everyone thought the ball was going out of play, but Jerry Yates kept it in on the touchline and nobody had noticed Ian Poveda through the middle, completely unmarked. He got the ball, but inexplicably tried to dink it over Caballero and fluffed it. Southampton 1, Blackpool 0.
Fulham lose the ball in the midfield. Coming forward now with Neil. Out towards Ahmad. Right hand side, there's a little trickery again with his footwork. They've quickly surrounded him, but he can't get the ball off him. Ahmed, he has been a real live wire, and the shot as well has been spilled, and Clark can't profit from close range. Rodak lost it, and that was a let off for Fulham.
Oh, it was brilliant play from Clark out on that right hand side for Sunderland, dropped it inside onto his left foot, took the shot. It was a massive goalkeeping error from Rodak, spilled it, and all of a sudden he got off his feet double quick to try and put the block on. And a vital one it was, because that was a chance for Sunderland to make it 2-0.
Ahmed has been excellent.
Been amazing. I mean, what I love as well, I love the arrogance of Sunderland's midfield players wanting to spend time on the ball. We're just seeing a replay of the goalkeeping error, but just sticks out a glove to produce the save. But you're right, Ahmed's just playing with confidence. He's dancing on the ball, he's putting his foot on top of the ball, he's enticing people in to try and foul him.
It really has been an excellent cup tie this here at Craven Cottage. Live on BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service. And Sunderland still lead by a goal to 0 as Roberts comes in off that right touchline, loses out. Kurzawa clears.
He's been brilliant as well, Patrick Roberts.
Yes, he has. Yeah, real threat down the right, haven't they, the two of them, especially when they've combined. Kurzawa back now to Tosin.
Well, he's one more tackle away, Kurzawa, because he's getting frustrated and the referee's just had a word with him. He's one more tackle away from a yellow card.
Here is Tosin coming forward. 10 minutes into the second half. And now it's with Diop over the halfway line. Gives the ball away. And that'll be Huggins to bring it away. And finds Clark. Sliding in though was Polinia. Into the midfield. Michu can't get there. Clark tries to win it back. Gets a challenge in on Polinia. Free kick awarded by the referee. Now it's with Kearney. Comes short to collect it. Right side of the centre circle. Crawley 3, Salford 0 is the latest score in League 2. Tete on this near side, the right. Tete running forward to Wilson. Wilson looks up, sees an area, runs into it, edge of the area, touches the ball to Polinia. Polinia 30 yards out from goal, goes square. Sunderland have everybody back inside their own half, and there's the break on. Roberts with the interception. Roberts now over the halfway line. Ahmed and Clark are up with him. Roberts has carried it to the edge of the area. Roberts is going all the way. And in the end, it's a low left-footed shot that he's just put wide.
Amazing run. I mean, it was a 3v2 in Sunderland's favour, and Patrick Roberts was driving forward. Then I was just making sure I kept an eye on the run from Ahmed, because he was in two minds whether to make a diagonal run or a straight run, and he took one or two defenders away from him, allowed Roberts to come in and take the shot on, and only a foot away from finding the bottom corner.
They are a joy to watch, Sunderland.
This close control from Patrick Roberts and Ahmad has been exceptional. I mean, top class, not championship stuff, not lower half Premier League stuff. Really top end football those two have produced.
Well, they scored, I think the goals were against Reading, and there was another excellent team goal against Huddersfield this season as the ball is hit long and Wilson brings it down. That was a nice first touch. Wilson shoots at the near post of Patterson. And if Barcelona, particularly the one against Reading, had scored it, we'd have been raving about it. But they are playing some excellent football.
Well, that just goes to show Tony Mowbray and his coaching staff what he's doing to these young players. He's giving them the confidence and the licence and teaching them skills on how to play and be expressive. Not be afraid of coming to a Premier League side like Fulham and sitting off them, taking the game to them.
Here is Barr running forward.
Look at them.
Barr now inside.
Incredible football.
Michu urged on. Clark waits left hand side. Clark comes on the inside. Michu on the overlap, low cross. Cleared behind.
I mean, honestly, Deno, anyone scores that goal, like we've just seen the move from Sunderland, the Barca's, the Man United's, Man City's, anyone. It's brilliant football.
They're in again here, offside, flags up. Well, what was it he said ahead of the game when in his interview? He said he wants to come here to land a few punches.
Yes,
they've certainly done that.
Oh, absolutely, they've landed a few punches and more.
And leading by a goal to nil, the knockout might well still come here in the FA Cup fourth round as Fulham are still behind. We've been playing now for nearly an hour. Now it's with Pereira on the halfway line, lays it off to Palhinha with a long searching diagonal ball headed out by the Sunderland right back Trey Hume.
I always think as well, from Tony Mowbray and his staff's point of view, there's a way to lose the game, and if they end up losing this game, they've performed incredibly well, so they can lean on that when they do the analysis.
Yes.
They're winning 1-0, but let's just say they lost it 2-1. They can lean on the analysis going back into the Championship and say we're a match for a Premier League side who are sitting, what, 7th?
7th, yeah, very much so. They can use this. It could be a real confidence booster to try and propel them into the playoff positions, and they're only a point outside those playoff positions in the Championship.
Yeah, you would have thought the top two, Burnley and Sheffield United on 62-57, have gone away from everyone. Well, certainly the playoffs are there for Sunderland, but this is a job where they can get through an FA Cup tie against Fulham. They're playing ever so well.
Well, they are still leading, and what has been a very entertaining tie. To St Mary's we go. Southampton-Blackpool, Jonathan Obrey.
Southampton 2, Blackpool 0. The Saints are struggling to find goals in the league this season. They might as well put Romain Perraud up top because the left back has scored his second of the day, Franny Benali.
Yeah, it was a great finish, wasn't it? A good play as well to build up. He picked it up on the touchline, dribbled in, played the ball into Sekou Mara. He took a couple of touches, played it back to Perraud, and he fired it low and past Chris Maxwell to make it 2-0.
Blackpool will rue that miss a few minutes earlier. Southampton 2, Blackpool 0.
Fulham are on the attack. Kazawa with a cross left-hand side. Kenny inside the penalty area. Kenny! Fine goal by Kenny! Excellent footwork. Bided his time. Fired in a left-footed shot. Patterson couldn't keep it out. And we're back all square. Fulham 1, Sunderland 1.
Brilliant individual goal. Brilliant individual goal and feat from Tom Kearney, just as Marcus Silva was asking a couple of subs to take their tops off and get on because he wanted to make a change. For the first time they've produced a good passing move. Kazawa gets in down the left-hand side. He's driving towards the 18-yard box. He picks out Tom Kearney. Now the Sunderland players diving in all over the place, desperate to put the block on because they think he's taking the shot on his right foot. Little Cruyff turn. They dive in because the shot is coming in on his right foot. At the last second, he switches it back onto his favoured left, gives them enough room to find the bottom left-hand corner. Nothing Patterson could have done. Brilliant individual goal.
His first goal of the season as well, in only his third start, although he has featured in every game for Fulham this season. But you're right, there was activity on that bench. But at the minute now, Kearney with the equaliser, and we're back all square, 1-1. Goal at Ibrox, ready for side.
And the goal that should settle it came from Glenn Kamara. He was just on the edge of the box when he picked up possession, drove it home. There was a claim for VAR for an offside from the St Johnstone defenders, none given legitimately, and Rangers are 2-0 to the good against St Johnstone.
So that will take Rangers to within 6 points of Celtic. Celtic, of course, do have that game in hand. You said just a moment ago, didn't you, about Kazawa was not too far away from a yellow card, and he's just been brandished one by referee Michael Salisbury.
It was obvious. He was showing frustration to tackle. I mean, it's a wild tackle that he puts in on the halfway line, right in front of the dugouts, which always sparks a reaction. So definite yellow.
So Fulham are level I think actually they might still be making that change, and it is going to be Mitrovic, who's never scored in the FA Cup in 8 previous appearances, but the former Newcastle striker is going to be coming on.
Well, it won't take a genius to work out. It'll be Carlos Vinicius, that's for sure. I don't think he's had a bad game, the front man, he's just never really got in it. Lack of service maybe, looks a yard off the pace.
So you would think that would be the change that we made, Mitrovic, and indeed it is. Let's get an update from Kenilworth Road, John Southall.
Well, it remains Luton 1, Grimsby 1, but Grimsby very much still in this game. They're in the edge of the 6-yard box now, cleared away by Luton. They've had a little free kick on the right of the D. Alex Hunt on his right foot over the crossbar. Luton 1, Grimsby 1.
So Mitrovic comes on, cheers from the Fulham supporters, and boos because of his Newcastle connections from the Sunderland fans. We'll go to Portman Road, Aaron Paul.
Ipswich 0, Burnley 0. Changes being rung out by both managers, and I'll tell you what, it's the Ipswich ones that are fascinating. Freddie Ladapo and Connor Chaplin, 28 goals between them are on. Ipswich can smell blood. And I'll tell you what, they've been fantastic this afternoon, Ian. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a cup upset on the cards there. 0-0.
In the Championship, Hull City lead Queen's Park Rangers by 2-0. 5 Live, the World Service, or listening via BBC Sounds here at Craven Cottage. Fulham 1, Sunderland 1. And this cup tie, from what we've seen in the second half, could go either way.
Yeah, I didn't want to jinx it at 1-0, but I always felt as though there was another goal in this game. But now that's an interesting substitution, Mitrovic on, because that's a different dynamic now for the Sunderland centre-backs. Also, it's a crowd lifter as well. So it puts Fulham on the front foot.
Certainly the last thing that they would want is a replay at the Stadium of Light.
I think they take it now, though. 1-1.
Yeah, I think could go either way at the minute. This is Huggins turning away. This young defender clears from his left back roll, but it goes only as far as Tosin inside the centre circle. Back with Tosin once again, and Polinia just in front of him is able to turn, and at a gentle walking pace strokes it towards Pereira, tries to slide in Tete high up the pitch on this right hand side. Pereira is back behind him, and here he is now with his short sleeve shirt and white gloves, sends over the cross, headed out by Hume, try and get back it with Kearney, runs it into the penalty area, headed away then by Ballard, and then cleared once more by Hume.
It's just an easier find, isn't he, Mitrovic? You know, he's not static when the crosses are coming in.
Another goal at St Mary's, Jonathan Oberend.
OK, well, this one makes it interesting. Southampton 2, Blackpool 1, and it's Charlie Patino, the teenager on loan from Arsenal, who has ended a flowing move, actually, on the counter-attack after sloppy work from El Yunusi in the Southampton midfield. Southampton 2, Blackpool 1.
Mansfield 3, Doncaster 1 is the latest score in League 2. So under the floodlights of that Riverside stand over on the far side, that smart two-tiered new stand on the banks of the Thames, we have 24 minutes remaining, and Mitrovic, Ballard goes tight behind, slides in, referee gives the free kick.
See, that's a good tackle in my book. Old school one from behind, not really aggressive, took the ball.
A goal at Luton, John Southall.
They've come from behind. Luton 2, Grimsby 1. Really good finish from Jordan Clark on the volley. The goalkeeper got a hand to it, but couldn't keep it out. Luton 2, Grimsby 1.
Hull City 3, Queen's Park Rangers 0 is the latest score in the Championship. Pereira for Fulham over the halfway line, chips the ball over the top. Tete was trying to get on the end of it. One bounce and it's into the arms of the goalkeeper, Patterson. And Fulham going to be making another change. Willian is going to be coming on.
He's been in great form, hasn't he?
He has.
What a signing.
Yeah, very, very good for Fulham. But that's again another positive change from Marco Silva. And he wants to get this done here and now at Craven Cottage for a side that doing ever so well back in the Premier League.
Yes, the small wins, I think, as a coach, when you make changes, obviously the 1-1 helps, so that puts you on the front foot. Then you bring Mitrovic on, so you get a little bit more momentum with that substitution. Then you bring Willian on, and it piles a little bit of pressure, psychological pressure, I think, on Sunderland, who's still performing well, but you're bringing some higher calibre of player onto the pitch.
Well, it's 1-1, but it could easily have been 2-2 or 3-3, the chances that have been created. Both keepers making excellent saves in this second period. At the minute, as the ball goes out of play for a Fulham throw, did you sense that the Premier League side are just getting themselves a little bit on top now?
Yeah, that's what happens when you get that 1-1, like I said, with the substitutions as well. think the big moment in the game potentially might have come from Patrick Roberts when he had that great move and great run and curled it towards the bottom corner, just a couple of inches wide. That would have been 2-0. That was a long way back for Fulham.
Back to Rodak with the clearance. Pereira controls it, lays it off to Paulinho, hits it first time over the top, over the head of Wilson, and out of play it goes for a throw. 5 Live will go to Luton. Goal, John Southall.
Unbelievable. Luton 2, Grimsby 2. They've come right back up the other end. And of all people, Harry Clifton, born in Grimsby, a Grimsby fan, been at the club since he was 9. He's just finished it into the bottom left-hand corner in front of the Grimsby fans. Luton 2, Grimsby 2.
What a story there. It is Willian's coming on, and it's Harry Wilson who's gone off. So Willian, the Brazilian, coming on for the Welsh international. Fulham looking to make another change. They've already got Mitrovic on. They've made 7 from the team that lost to Tottenham. You had Pereira, Tete, Diop and Paulinho, the 4 who remained from that side that lost here on Monday night. But now he's turned to his bench as Marco Silva against this excellent Sunderland team.
They might be able to nick a goal, but they can't buy a throw in, Fulham. Another one's gone to Sunderland. all on this side as well.
Infield it goes. Neil flicks it forward, hooked inside by Clark, met by Tosin, to Mitrovic, out to Willian. Pereira makes the run through the middle. Pereira, edge of the area. Pereira slips as he shoots, but Patterson made the save at his near post.
Wrong option. Willian with his first touch put Pereira through on the edge of the box. Surely had to try and find Mitrovic. Took the shot on the angle, off balance, never likely to beat Patterson from there.
Coventry City have got a second goal at home to Huddersfield in the Championship. Coventry City 2, Huddersfield Town 0.
But the first time in the game Fulham have now pushed Sunderland back. Just gone a little bit deep, Sunderland.
That's the voice of Don Hutchison, who's with us here today at Craven Cottage. With 20 minutes remaining, 1-1. Kearney, who got the Fulham equaliser. Out it goes to Solomon, running in now off that left touchline, at pace, edge of the area, right-footed shot. Couldn't find the dip, goal kick.
Need to do a little bit of work here, Sunderland, because at the moment it feels inevitable that Fulham are on top and might just get the next goal in the game. So defensively, they've got to make sure their sound midfield players get back on the ball. Try and get the front men some service.
It's probably the first time in the game, though, where you feel that Fulham really are on top.
Yeah, absolutely. And if there is going to be a goal, a winner in this game at this point, it looks like the home side. So Sunderland need to react.
Exeter City have got a second goal. MK Dons 0, Exeter 2 is the latest score in League One. Run through all the latest scores for you toward, well, I'll probably do it in about the next 10 minutes or so, as Hugh Grant is here today, watching Fulham. Didn't see him in the director's lounge. Go to Maz Faruqi now, Hillsborough.
Equaliser for Sheffield Wednesday, 70 minutes gone here. Mallet Wilkes with the tap-in really at the near post as the cross came in from the right, but there's definitely maybe a hint of a bundling in from a defender as well. But it's an equaliser, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Fleetwood 1.
On a great run of form, Darren Moore's side, unbeaten in 20, and they've got that equaliser. Willian couldn't squeeze the ball into the path of Pereira on the edge of the penalty box. Sunderland's ball out from defence though has gone.
Can't get any momentum now, Sunderland. No. Can't get the momentum, can't keep the ball. It's all Fulham.
Pen back now, aren't they? Here is Kearney. Leaves it for Paulinho. Sunderland have got everybody back behind the ball. Now it's with Diop. Willian just comes in off the right touchline. Kearney coming from deep, 10 yards forward of the centre circle to Mitrovic, tries to roll his man, look for the return ball to Kearney. Sunderland managed to get the ball away, and now they win with Michu, who tries to release Clark, and Clark might get the better of Diop. Now Diop is goal side, Clark comes on the inside.
Tackle. Good tackle.
Tete with a challenge.
Just nicked it. Diop was in a world of trouble. He done him for pace.
Fulham's turn to attack. Pereira, Willian, unmarked right side of the area, finds Mitrovic. It was a heavy first touch from Mitrovic, and it's Marshall safely out behind for a goal kick.
Again, end-to-end stuff. I mean, classic Mitrovic play from Tom Kearney into his feet, protected the ball, tried to find the runner, then Sunderland broke, and Jack Clark was away, and he'd done Diop for pace ever so easily. Then he drifted inside, just about to pull the trigger. Good defending from Tete. just nicked it off his toes. So that might be the game plan for Sunderland. Soak up a little bit of pressure, get the ball to the quick front men.
As another player down, certainly have had a lot of misfortune with injuries. Sunderland at the minute, it's Trey Hume who's gone down, whether it's just a touch of cramp or something a little bit more serious. So a little break in play here at Craven Cottage at 1-1. We can go to St Mary's. Jonathan Overend.
Southampton 2, Blackpool 1, and the Championship side certainly sniffing the potential for a second goal here, because Franny Benali, Southampton were complacent, weren't they, in giving away that goal?
Yeah, it certainly wasn't a good bit of play from Southampton defensively, was it? Losing possession in midfield, and it's a credit for Blackpool. They drove forward, broke into the box extremely well, and then that was a wonderful finish from Patino, who has got his team back in with a chance in this tie now.
Yeah, and that really should have been a second goal for them after the glaring miss moments earlier.
Oh yeah, what a chance it was, wasn't it? It was just bizarre, wasn't it? Because Bella Kotchap, I think, who felt he got fouled near the centre halfway line rather, was appealing to the referee for some sort of a foul or obstruction whilst the game was still going on. So it was a wonderful chance for Poveda, but yeah, certainly fluffed the chip, and then he blasted the second chance wide.
15 minutes to play. Southampton 2, Blackpool 1.
We have 16 minutes remaining. 1-1 here at Craven Cottage. Miserable times for Aberdeen, losing to Darvel in the Scottish Cup. Now 4-0 down at Easter Road. That could be a really damaging result for their manager, as Willian for Fulham. Tete on the inside. Now it's with Kearney. Play back underway. Trey Hume back on the field as well after getting treatment. Willian comes inside. Here is Palhinha, edge of the area, goes down. Free kick to Fulham in a dangerous position just outside the box. Don.
Yeah, defender dived in. Maybe that's the first sign, I think, of tired legs from that central defender partnership. The way the back four have defended really well. No malice, I don't think, in the foul. Willian just popped a little ball into Palhinha just a little bit too quick. Actually, two Sunderland players come in and caught him. Barr was one of them. That was the other one.
But it's just outside the penalty box. It's right of centre. Kearney, well, Pereira would be the obvious one you'd have thought with this set piece. Pereira will be looking at it. Patterson's lining up the wall. 15 minutes of normal time remain on BBC Radio 5 Live.
Yeah, three of them standing there. Willian looks like
of course,
he fancies it. It actually favours, from the angle that we're looking at, on the right hand side close to the edge of the 18-yard box, it favours Tom Kearney with his left foot, but Willian might try and go round the wall or over the wall towards the top right.
Pereira's walked away, and so Willian and Kearney are in conversation at the moment. Sunderland have got 4 in the wall. Patterson is happy that he's protected his right hand post. We're looking away towards our right at the moment, and this free kick for Fulham at 1-1.
It's Kearney for me, but Willian might take it. Kearney's the favourite in terms of the angle.
Kearney just checks his studs, removes a little bit of turf from underneath both of his boots, his blue boots. Willian waits patiently. Free kick for Fulham. Willian runs up now. Willian, good save by Patterson. Got it round the wall, right-footed. Patterson with his angles made the save to push the ball away, and then it doesn't go out of play. The clearance from Sunderland out for a throw instead.
Yeah, that was the harder skill from Willian, trying to go over the wall and then back down again on the angle that he was on. It was a good hit. It was always just curling, because he's a right-footed player, taking it with his right foot. It was curling in towards Patterson, made the save a little bit easier. It wasn't going away from him.
So Sunderland are going to be making changes. Fulham, I think, are going to be making more changes as well. And this might well be a debut here for Sunderland. And it is going to be Michu who's going to be going off. And the player who's, in fact, it's going to be a double change, because Ewison Bennett is going to be coming on, the Costa Rica international. And it's Clark who's going off as well. And Fulham are going to be removing Palhinha. So Clark has gone off, Bennett has come on, and it'll be Reid who's going to replace him. Palhinha, the Portuguese international.
Probably Cordova-Reid coming on as well, I think.
And so Kearney's going off, and Cordova-Reid is coming on. So they've made their changes now of Fulham. Kearney, who got the equaliser, and And it was a fine equaliser as well. So De Cordova-Reid comes on for Kearney.
Well, that'll allow Willian to go on the left side for Fulham. De Cordova-Reid going on the right side.
Let's get an update from Kenilworth Road. John Southall.
Luton 2, Grimsby 2. Luton are on top here. Morris just with a downward header saved by the keeper. Still, this could go either way. 78 minutes played in the game. Luton 2, Grimsby of League 2 2.
Thank you, John. Yes, that's a fine comeback. The other change was Pierre Ekwa, so it is a debut for this 21-year-old midfielder, signed this week from West Ham United. He'd been at West Ham for 18 months. He joined them from Chelsea, joined Chelsea's youth system as a young lad. So he comes on for his debut. Another promising young player. That's the way that Sunderland are moving with their strategy and their recruitment, and certainly reaping the rewards from what we've seen so far. So he's come on to replace Michu. So they're the changes that have been made. So with Ekwa coming on for Sunderland, and the other one was Jefferson Bennett replacing Clark, the Costa Rican. Let's go to Ipswich and Aaron Paul.
Ipswich 0, Burnley 0. The visitors just putting their foot on the gas ever so slightly here. Anna Zaroury catching a ball on the volley, left side of the area. It took a deflection, went behind for a corner. Josh Brownhill popped that in. The ball looked like it was heading into the net, but for Hladky in the Ipswich goal, who was able to tip it onto the post. Ipswich 0, Burnley 0.
Huggins on this near side to left, goes back to Bart. Central defender runs forward, then that's laid off by Bennett. Now with Huggins, we have just over 10 minutes remaining. Replay potentially on the cards, or will there be a time for a winner here at Craven Cottage?
Test now for Sunderland in terms of what they want to do in this game with 10 minutes to go. Do they try and keep hold of the ball, try and play intricate passes, try and go for the 2-1 win? I'm pretty sure that'll be in the back of their mind at the moment. It's stopping Fulham because they're on the ascendancy. They've got the confidence, they think they can win this game.
Sunderland win the ball in the midfield, get it out towards that right-hand side. Hume goes down the line. Roberts is ahead of him, level with the penalty area. Roberts now backheels the ball towards Hume, tries to work over the first-time cross. That was blocked by Tosin. And in front of their passionate support, they get a throw right down by the corner flag. Swindon Town 3, Gillingham 3 is the latest score in League 2. From the throw to Ahmed. Linking up once again with Roberts, back towards Ahmed. Ahmed pulls it back. Roberts with a shot, blocks, comes out to Ekwa and on the edge of the area. Sliced effort coming in from Neil, off target goal kick.
Oh, I think Ekwa had the big chance, you know. Fantastic football again from Sunderland, and Ahmed just dancing away from the defenders, petrified of trying to make a tackle in the 18-yard box, risking giving the penalty away. Once he's in there, there's no touching him. Now they're looking for a little bit of luck, a little bit of a quality finish. Sunderland trying, Fulham players putting their bodies all on the line.
It remains one apiece. Latest scores in the Scottish Premiership. Hibs 4, Aberdeen 0. Rangers against the 10 men of St Johnstone lead 2-0. Ross County 3, Kilmarnock 0. Kilmarnock bottom of the table. As St Mirren 1, Motherwell 0 is a latest score elsewhere. In League 2, Wimbledon 1, Stockport 0. Barrow 0, Northampton Town 1. Crawley Town, as the ball goes back to Patterson.
Got to try and play the clock here if they can, Sunderland. Just take seconds and minutes off the clock. Try and keep hold of the ball. Stop the flow of Fulham.
This is Pereira just outside the centre circle. Crawley Town will be getting their first win in 5, leading Salford 3-1, Harrogate 0, Sutton 1, Hartlepool 0, Colchester United 1, Mansfield 3, Doncaster 1, Rochdale bottom of the table 0, Carlisle United 1, Swindon 3, Gillingham 3, and a goal at Prenton Park in our featured game. Lee Blakeman.
Leaders behind, Tranmere 1, Leyton Orient 0, Josh Dacres-Cogley, ball in from the right, went in off an Orient player, and Prenton Park has come alive at last. Tranmere 1, Leyton Orient 0.
I'll give you the latest scores in League 1, the Championship and the FA Cup very, very soon here on 5 Live and the World Service. But it's Fulham with Solomon, forward ball. Mitrovic couldn't get there, goes out for a goal kick. So here are the latest scores in League 1. The result earlier on today, Charlton 1, Bolton Wanderers 2. Latest scores, Burton 2, Oxford United 0. Goalless between Cheltenham and Port Vale, Lincoln City and Cambridge. MK Dons 0, Exeter 2. Morecambe 4, Bristol Rovers 0. And Peterborough 2, Portsmouth 0, Shrewsbury 0, Forest Green Rovers 1. Bottom of the table, but could be a winning start for their new manager, Duncan Ferguson. The 3 latest scores in the Championship, those 3 games: Coventry 2, Huddersfield 0, Hull City 3, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Middlesbrough 2, Watford 0. I'll give you the latest scores in the FA Cup very, very soon. But here we are, we've got 7 minutes remaining, and it's with Sunderland and Neil. Pereira wins the ball back, and now, Reid wins the ball back, and now it's with Pereira. Pereira trying to switch it. Willian is playing on the left-hand side now for Fulham. Couldn't quite keep the ball in play, Don Hutchison.
Well, that's what they're going to try and feed Willian now. He's on the left-hand side, which is his best position because he allows to get himself 1v1 and then cuts inside onto his favoured right foot. Cordova-Reid on the other side and Mitrovic through the middle. So Fulham definitely gone for the win, but Sunderland surviving the minutes as they go by.
Highlights of the games on Match of the Day tonight. This one, certainly they'll not be struggling to get the highlights with the edit for this one, I can guarantee you that.
It's not a 1-1 game, is it?
Definitely not. The results earlier in the Cup: Accrington 1, Leeds United 3, Walsall 0, Leicester City 1. These are the latest scores. Blackburn lead Birmingham 2-1, Bristol City 3, West Bromwich Albion 0. Bristol City extending their unbeaten run to 7. Ipswich and Burnley remains goalless. Luton Town 2, Grimsby Town 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Fleetwood Town 1, Southampton 2, Blackpool 1. Commentary from Deepdale to come on 5 Live at 6. Preston against Tottenham, and then Manchester United Reading will follow that at 8 o'clock. Here now is Solomon. Back it goes to Pereira. Pereira edging his way forward. 6 minutes remain of normal time. Still 1-1. Pereira out to Tete. High up the pitch on this near side, the right. Time to measure the cross. In it goes. That first time hit by Solomon. Low left-footed. Took it early. Patterson with the save.
Another brilliant save from Patterson. Excellent play from Fulham, whipping across on the right-hand side. Solomon actually met it really well. The timing of his strike was really good. Not an easy one to try and hit. Got to try and keep it low, which he did. And away to his right-hand side. Good save from Anthony Patterson yet again.
Hartlepool United have equalised at home to Colchester. Hartlepool 1, Colchester 1. We're going to go to Luton now. John Southall.
Luton 2, Grimsby 2, but Grimsby just had a great chance to potentially win this game. Harry Clifton again, 8 yards out, just needed a decent connection. Didn't give it enough, was trying to guide it into the corner. It was cleared away. Luton 2, Grimsby 2.
You know what I said to you, as Sunderland press, and Tosin eventually gets it away on that far side, and with Reid. In the first half, I said, for all Fulham's possession, they didn't quite work the goalkeeper enough. They've certainly worked young Patterson second half.
Well, all the young Sunderland players, and to be fair, everyone that's played their part in red and white today, I think have defended, played, attacked really well. It's been an exceptional team performance.
Well, we're going to see Chris Rigg coming on. He's a left-footed central midfielder. When he made his debut against Shrewsbury in the 3rd round, at 15 years and 203 days, he became Sunderland's youngest ever outfield player. He's coming on for his 2nd appearance. He's an England youth international. He's from Hebburn. His family all support Newcastle. They've been linked with him. Manchester United, Liverpool. His youth deal expires at the end of the season, but he is meant to be a real prospect. So Chris Rigg coming on for Sunderland. Here is Solomon. Solomon to Tete, enters the penalty area right-hand side. Mitrovic with a header at the far post. Comfortable save for the keeper, quite high.
Not like him. It was written in the stars there. Mitrovic, for the first time since he's been on the pitch, completely unmarked, standing in the 18-yard box. Solomon just switching wings with Cordova-Reid, found himself on the right-hand side, then Tete stood across up. From there, you fancied Mitrovic all day long. He's hit it too straight towards Patterson.
The Sunderland supporters backing their team right to the end here at Craven Cottage. 3.5 minutes of normal time remaining. Tell you what, I wouldn't mind watching the replay if it's as good as this first encounter, if indeed it does go to a replay at the Stadium of Light. Rigg picks it up, left-footed, floats it over towards Bart. Bart won't quite keep the ball in play.
I'll tell you, Dano, as well, if you're a scout watching this game, you're looking at players for Sunderland. Everyone knows about the Fulham players being a Premier League side, but there's been some brilliant performance for Tony Mowbray's men today.
With a full hour of sports report, we'll hope to get the live reaction here at Craven Cottage. Neil out to Ahmad. He was so lively in the first half.
He's not faded in terms of his energy. Still closing down, still getting on the ball. just not getting them in dangerous areas because Sunderland have gone a bit deep.
It was Roberts who came off for Rigg. Willian runs forward, loses it. Ballard, who made that terrific goal line block in the first half, won't quite reach Rigg. Pereira in the midfield, Fulham get it back. Just 2 minutes remaining. Oh, giving the ball away. But Tete got there before Bennett could, the Costa Rican. Stroke forward. De Cordova-Reid picks it up for Fulham. Rigg gets into the challenge. Sunderland fans like that second challenge from Neil. Brilliant by Sunderland. Real desire.
Take him on.
And now in front of their passionate support. But Ekwa with a shot, took a deflection, should be a corner. Indeed it is.
Look at those Sunderland fans behind the goal. They are desperate to see a winner. I mean, this is what the FA Cup's all about. There was 3 50-50s in the middle of the park and Sunderland won every single one of them. Fantastic defending, fantastic tackles, and now put Sunderland potentially in a dangerous corner.
That end will go absolutely berserk if Sunderland are to score inside the 89th minute at 1-1. Ahmad to take the corner kick, near side the left-footed. Ballard with the header, it was dropping, and Rodak made the save, arms stretched high, away towards his left-hand side.
The only thing missing from Ballard there was the power on the finish. He'd done well under pressure to try and direct it towards the top corner.
Ball rolled out. Kazawa goes up towards Mitrovic, lays it off on the halfway line to Pereira, central position, left of the centre circle, back out on that left-hand side. Willian running forward now for Fulham. De Cordova-Reid is ahead of Mitrovic at the moment. The Brazilian passes the ball towards Reid. Reid now with Diop. Every outfield player is in the Sunderland half. What a cracking tie this has been. Here is Diop. Tosin on the halfway line. Strokes it out towards Kazawa. Forward towards Pereira. That vocal support has never waned. Mind you, you'll know all about that from your time up there on Wearside.
Amazing away fans.
Strong run by Diop, edge of the area, couldn't quite reach Mitrovic, comes out to Pereira, plays it first time. Willian enters the penalty area. This is Mitrovic with a shot, takes a deflection, looks behind, corner kick. Goal at Blackburn, Ellen Ellard.
It is an equaliser for Birmingham City. Blackburn 2, Birmingham 2. Jordan James off the sub bench, tapping home after Hannibal Medri found him in the box. It's all level here and it looks like we're going to a replay.
We're into 4 minutes of added on time. It's 1-1. We're that far away from a replay between these two sides. Pereira to take the corner kick for Fulham. Far side the left. Sunderland have everybody back. Pereira, in it goes now. Keeper's come, didn't get there. It was headed away in front of him by Bart. Back into the crowded penalty box it goes. Bart turns, clears it away, only as far as Tete. Midway through the Sunderland half. Out it goes towards Pereira. The interception though will come and Sunderland maybe now are on the break. Ball by Neil, played up towards the lively Ahmad, urged on by the crowd. Barr going through the middle. Certainly, here it is. Flag stays down. Opportunity here for Barr. Pulls it back! Flag goes up now. Chris Rigg. It'll go to VAR. The 15-year-old thought he scored with a right-footed shot in up the underside of the crossbar. VAR will have a look at it. The celebrations are on hold.
Oh, how cruel, but it does look as though in real time there was an offside there. From Sunderland's point of view, they just thought, especially the substitute coming on, thinking they were going to nick it. Offside.
And well offside, plays back already underway. What a shame for Chris Rigg, the 15-year-old, as he ran away towards the left corner flag. The flag had already been up and Sunderland's goal does not stand. Still at 1-1. Willian now on that left-hand side, left corner of the penalty area. Willian down towards the byline. Willian, magic from Willian, blocked. Fulham still keep it alive. Willian plays it back. Kazawa sends over the cross. Mitrovic is up. Mike reached Tete. Cleared away by Ekwa. How long have we got left? We've got 2 minutes remaining of added on time.
Should have been a foul. Tete pushed the Sunderland player off the park.
Into Mitrovic from De Cordova-Reid. Blocked, cleared. Well, There's been a goal at Shrewsbury in League One. Charlie Slater.
And Shrewsbury have equalised in the 5th minute of stoppage time. It's Rakeal Pike from 16 yards out. It's Shrewsbury 1, Forest Green 1. Duncan Ferguson so close to all 3 points in his first game.
Mansfield 4, Doncaster 1 is the latest score in League 2. We're in added on time at Craven Cottage for what has been a scintillating cup tie. Kazawa far side the left. Sunderland defending. In comes the cross. It's high towards the far post and then volleyed up in the air by Huggins. 90 seconds remain. Cleared further now by Ekwa for Sunderland. It would be harsh on Tony Mowbray's side if they didn't get the replay.
Absolutely. Be very, very cruel. Been magnificent, Sunderland today.
And any TV executives who've been listening to 5 Live will be thinking, we'll have that game on Weir side if it's as good as this. Solomon picks it up on the right-hand side. Tomorrow our commentaries are at Brighton at 1:30 as Mitrovic brings it under control on the edge of the area. Mitrovic trying to get the shot away. He's going the long way around. What a save by Patterson from close range. Willian tipped over by Patterson. Twice Fulham go so close. How he kept it out the first time because it took a deflection from Mitrovic's shot, but he made the reflex save and then the fingertip effort to keep out Willian.
No idea how this has not gone in the back of the net. I mean, unbelievable centre forward play from Alexander Mitrovic. He's rolling the defenders diving in to try and put the block. Takes so many deflections on the way through. Is that Cordova-Reid with the effort?
Yeah.
4 yards out.
He swiveled and it was a chested effort that Patterson kept out. Corner kick from Pereira. And then Sunderland should run this clear with Bennett. Edge of his own penalty area. By my watch where the 4 minutes are up, and in fact there it is. And the two sides will do it again. And I, for one, cannot wait. Because Fulham won, Sunderland won, and it could have been 4-4. What a game of football.
Amazing game of football. You're right, Dano. Could have been 4-4. Fulham have put a real shift in the second half, but for large parts of that game, I thought they got outplayed. Sunderland, as the away team, a young team, were absolutely magnificent.
They certainly were. They took the lead through Jack Clark. What a composed finish after he dispossessed Diop. And then an equally fine equaliser from Kearney just past the hour. Tony Mowbray acknowledges the 6,000 support. What an effort. 1-1.
What a game of football. Fantastic at Craven Cottage. They'll have to do it all again. Southampton have squeaked through. Jonathan Overend.